soon as I seen the first bikes, I was like, it blew my mind, and I thought, this is awesome. Like, I want to have a go at this. The helmet did a fantastic job because I went head first into an Armco barrier at 130 mile an hour. Every hour of the day, give me something that I can do that's going to help me potentially be back for the TT. I think I had to do it for myself mentally. Everybody thought I was nuts. Once you race a TT, it sort of ruins everything else for you. Everything else in your life is less good. Just the adrenaline rush.
They're going to be Hill and they're going to be Hopkins, and they cross the line. It's Hill by 6 thousandths of a second.
The Outside Line Podcast, reuniting your hosts, the legendary commentary duo of Jack Bernicle and James Whittam.
But he's not on the right side of him unless he can do it. Oh no! Round the outside!
Oh, what a move!
The Outside Line Podcast, powered by LS2 Helmets.
Welcome to episode 19 of The Outside Line with myself, Jack Bernicle, James Whittam, and Sprout, his beloved little Jack Russell. James is actually not in great shape today. He's got a touch of laryngitis, so he might not be doing quite as much talking as he usually does.
So basically, the show where we've got more to talk about, the weekend after MotoGP World Superbike, BSB, and looking forward to the TT, Northwest.
Yes.
I've got to mention. And I've got laryngitis and I can't talk so well, so...
this is what happens after an energetic weekend, of course, at Donington Park with BSB. So, sadly, James will be...
I'll do my best.
You've already done an intro, so you're doing all right. You know, right. You're getting out more than you expected. But we've also got a bit of a present from our headline sponsor, LS2 Helmets, with a James Whittam design kindly applied to it. Right, it looks really something.
It's a bit of an old and the new.
Yeah.
So there's elements of some of my old helmets. There's also outside line. It's all airbrush, beautiful job. It's a Thunder GP Pro model, which is the same one used at the highest level of racing, including BSB, and it's lovely. In fact,
it is. It's absolutely beautiful.
That way.
Thanks very much for that, gentlemen. That's really appreciatied.
Yeah.
Sprout, you don't really need Sprouty is a bit offended by the fact he wasn't invited to Good Woof.
Yeah.
And there's a special kind of weekend of little dogs there.
He's still not right now. Look at it. So Good Woof is just like the Festival of Speed and the Revival and the horse racing. It's a mega event put on by Goodwood. Obviously, they call it Good Woof because it's a dog themed.
We'll ensure you get
weekend
there next
festival.
Year, mate.
But the fact is, he thought his profile now was such that he'd have been had an automatic kind of invite.
Yeah.
So he's a bit pissed off.
And the other thing I forgot to mention it, Danny, is this is our first birthday, James.
Yeah, 1 year.
We started off at the beginning of May 2025.
Yeah, 1 year. Yeah.
And Sprouty, you've been a headliner, backed of course still by Metzler tyres. You've been a bit of a headliner, mate. So James, you've mentioned all those things that have gone on last weekend. I mean, every motorcycle championship had something going on. We've got a bit to talk about there. Not too much for you to talk about because we don't want to wreck your voice here because you're going off to the island on Thursday, aren't you? So you need to be fit for that.
Need to
couple of days' time.
So I'm not having spicy food.
Oh, okay.
I'm not having alcohol.
You don't normally?
All right, I'm not having the half pint of alcohol I have on a Friday sometimes. And I'm hoping that's going to make the difference. And I'm just going to have to be careful and see what happens. Be all right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, to help James out, we have a special guest.
He's here.
He's here.
He's walking to down now.
3-time TT winner, Davey Todd.
Davey. Mate.
Nice to see you, mate. Yeah, very good. Take a seat. Sprouty will probably join you.
Well,
over in
Sprouty
yonder
does his
leather.
own thing.
Oh no, he's headed for you, James.
Firstly, thanks for...
No.
Oh, come on then. Come on.
Oh, well done, Sprouty.
Firstly,
Brilliant.
thanks for making effort, Dave. Clearly in some, I'm not going to say distress, but clearly in a fair bit of pain walking, and we appreciate that you've taken time.
I appreciate you having me, mate. It's not like I've got much else on at the minute, is it?
No, I've got to say that, but hey, thank you.
Did you enjoy a little dip into television commentary at the Northwest 200?
Do you know what? I actually did it. I actually did enjoy it. You know, I didn't know what it'd be like, and to be honest, at the time, I was rather upset. So I wasn't sure even whether I was going to stay at the Northwest. When I got the news that I couldn't ride, I thought, I'm going to get out of here. I'd rather not be here.
That would be the normal thing for a racer to do.
Yeah, which isn't really what I wanted to do, but you just like, in the heat of the moment, you're like, I don't want to be here. And the next thing, I got a quick ask to be on to do a bit of TV work and stuff like that. And I thought, you know what, it'd be nice for the sponsors. At least I can still be there in some shape, way, or form. And yeah, I did really enjoy it. And I think I'll be doing a little bit more maybe at the TT.
I was going to say, would you be taken up with the TT? Is that liable to happen? Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we've been talking about it a little bit, and now we'll be racing at the TT, which is still a little bit of a sore subject. But I'll have to be there to support the team, and it is 50% mine after all. I'll have to be there and support Pete, and hopefully he has a good TT, and be there for the sponsors and everything else, and then. Yeah, maybe do a bit of work will keep me busy as well, won't it?
Yeah. What do you think Pete's prospects are, realistically?
Honestly, you never know. I know he's not 100%. He's not 100% himself right now.
His dad was quite concerned about him when I spoke to him at the Stafford Classic show. Dave was...
I've noticed, if you know Pete, you know he's not right. He's not the same Pete that we know.
Definitely not.
So he's obviously in a bit more pain than he's saying. Injury's probably worse than he's saying. That's normal.
Yeah, like every racer, isn't it? You say it's better than it is. It also, at the same time, doesn't really show like what he's been doing at BSB, and Northwest was a nightmare for everyone. It was tough, wasn't it? Because of the weather and stuff like that.
Going weather,
how qualifying worked. He had a really good wet qualifying. And then the dry qualifying on Thursday, he had a couple of bike issues, which then ended. He had to start on the third wave in the Superstock race, so he had a bit of a nightmare in that. So it hasn't really shown his potential. The BSB bike, as we know, the BMW's a very difficult package to be on in BSB rules and stuff. So a lot of people are writing him off a little bit, and I think that'd be a little bit hasty to do to write him off just yet. He's still the lap record holder. He's still got what it takes to be fast around that place. The Superstock bike, or not necessarily the Superstock bike, but on kit electronics, that bike's miles easier to ride. Yeah. It's really good.
Yeah,
way easier
you can
to
see
ride
what he's doing with Allingham in British Superstock.
So that's going to help him in a lot of senses. Obviously, the bike's better, but physically, if you're not 100%, the bike's a lot easier to ride as well than the BSB bike, which he's maybe getting tired towards the end of the race.
That's what he says,
like that. I think he'll be up there. Well, he's not going to be miles away.
He's who he is, and he can do what he. We know how fast he can go when things are going his way. And also, Pete's always been quite good at managing his own kind of expectations of what he can do at that point. However, what I don't want to see him doing is thinking, right, BSB for whatever reason is not going brilliantly. I haven't had the results for the last couple of years that I think and most other people think I'm capable of. So I'm having it this year, and actually putting pressure on himself to perform at this year's TT. That's what you don't want to see. But hey.
No, exactly. He knows that. He's well experienced, isn't he? He's been in the game long enough. I know he's had a bit of a rough time of it since last year with the injury and everything else, but he's never been a wild rider or somebody.
No, he hasn't. No.
Even like have his head not in the right place on track. Me and him are very similar when it comes to racing, and we're very laid back off the track. We don't need to be, have necessarily everything in the perfect place off track. Once you get on track, you switch into a different. Once the visor goes down, you're that different person, and you can be on your game, and I think he will. I think he will be.
What about your own recollections of what happened at Daytona? Can you remember? Can you remember what happened quite clearly in the accident, or is it all a bit of a mystery?
Unfortunately, the helmet did a fantastic job because I went head first into an Armco barrier at 130 mile an hour. So I think all things considered, I'm banged up, a lot of broken bones, but it could have been a lot worse. And as I said, I unfortunately remember all of it because it didn't knock me out at all, and it broke my nose in 2 places, and as you can see, it's a little bit bent now. But yeah, I remember all of it. Come out of turn 2, and the bike was leant over, and you just stand it up to get on the brakes for turn 3. The international hairpin, or
the infield
they call
part.
it the infield.
Yeah.
As I stood it up, as I moved my body to stand the bike up, it didn't stand up. It just stayed leant over like that. So then I really moved loads and forced it to stand up, and it just didn't. It completely stayed at lean angle. So the steering lock stop bolt wound out. So I actually got knocked off on the first lap of qualifying by another rider. He took the front and cleaned me out. It was just unlucky, really. Rode the bike back to the pits, limped it back. It was all bent and twisted.
Yeah.
The bars were all messed up and stuff, and a few bits were hanging off. They got it all repaired, or so they thought. Went back out, only had probably 10 minutes left of the session, and did 3 laps, I think. And obviously this lock stop bolt was winding out. And as you lean left, as we teach on your days, Wit, to lean into a corner, you actually push on the handlebar. So turning left,
The
your
opposite
bars
bar.
actually turn right a little bit.
Yes.
As I went through the left and the bars had turned right a little bit, the lock stop bolts wound out a bit more to the bar and then jammed it. So when I've tried to stand it up, it's still turning that way. So won't actually stand up. It just kept on its trajectory, and there's actually no runoff at all on the inside because
They don't need to be.
you wouldn't ever crash there.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
nearly never.
Yes.
Yeah.
As I thought, right, it's not standing up, and look that way, the wall was 10, 20 feet away. And you think at 130 mile an hour, I'm not going to get stopped. So I tried to jump off it, but at that stage, it doesn't matter whether you jump off it or not. You're going into the wall. So ricocheted off it, bounced back out, and as I sort of come to, and there's all blood all in my nose, and I was sort of struggling to breathe because there was so much blood in my nose and my mouth and everything. And I rolled over and my legs stayed where it was, and I was like, oh no, okay, that's not good. And that was about it. Unfortunately, they got scooped up into an ambulance.
Carefully, I hope.
Yeah, it didn't feel so carefully, but I think they were being as careful as they could. I think it was just a bit sore, and got in the ambulance, and it took me fortunately only 5 minutes. It felt like an hour ride, but it was only 5 minutes up the road to Halifax Health Daytona Hospital, which is just around the corner. And there I stayed for the next 12 days. I got 2 surgeries in the next couple of days. Obviously, the main break was my femur on the left.
How many breaks in the femur?
It's about 4, but it's quite vague. There's
Shrapnel.
it sort of blew the bone out the back and broke a few little bits off it, basically. And there's one bigger chunk and then a few little bits. So they put a rod in there and a few screws to hold the rod in. But they did this surgery the next day. Then came, and they always ask you, well, it's a normal thing for them to come. You can weight bear on the rod straight away.
Yeah.
So they said, "Oh, can you try and stand on it?" So I tried to stand on it, and I'd already been saying my leg on the other side was in a lot of pain. And they said, "Oh, can you stand on that?" I'm like, "I can stand on that, yeah, but that one hurts more. So you need to X-ray my ankle and my foot, and this shoulder was hurting a lot." And they went, "Yeah, you've had a big crash. It's bound to be a little bit sore. You're a bit bruised." And I was like, I know they're used to maybe speaking to you everyday person who's in there or whatever, but when you're a bike racer, you know what broken bones feel like, because you've been through it enough times. And I said, "Honestly, I think it's broken." They're just like, yeah, don't worry about it. And I'm like, "No, seriously, can you please X-ray that ankle, my foot and my shoulder?" They finally give in and went, "Okay, right, fine. If you really need it X-raying." And they come up and X-rayed it, and basically the woman who come up and X-rayed it, she went, "Oh, I'm not really meant to tell you this because it's meant to go back to the to the orthopedic, and he's meant to give you the info. But I can tell you for sure it's broken because it's in two bits." Yeah, I know. Same with my foot, and my shoulder wasn't broken. It's already a mess anyway, but I separated the AC, so it's a bit.
So what had broken? The ankle had broken.
Yeah, so my tibia, basically the ankle bones that come off the tibia off the sides, it just snapped one off one side.
Right.
So then they screwed that back on with a couple of screws, and that actually feels brand new, to be honest. It's a little bit sore, but
that looked like the good leg as you came in.
That's spot on. Most people wouldn't notice I've done anything to that one, but that one is broke as well, and I had surgery on that. And my foot, but they didn't do surgery. They can't really do anything.
Did it what? Tarsals, metatarsals?
Yeah, it's like I don't know what you call it. It's my seconds. Yeah, basically your metatarsal. My fourth one.
There's not a lot they can do with them anyway.
They can't do much, and they just wait for it to heal. It's a bit sore, but when you really put pressure on it, but it's actually not bad. It's the femur that's taking a bit of healing. We're 9 weeks on now, and they did tell me, to be fair, when I said I want to race a TT, I want to race a Northwestern TT, and they said, "When's that?" And I said, in 8 weeks. And they went, "No chance." And I said, "No, I'll do it. It'll be all right." And I went, "It's 6 months before it will be like look healed, and 12 months before it's properly healed." And I went,
"So any sensible person would accept this?"
No chance. No, I just said I think I had to do it for myself mentally.
Yeah.
What was this whole Italian adventure then? Where was it in Italy that you went?
So that was the next step. I wanted to get back, and Sven, who's one of the bosses at BMW, called me up to see how I was, and I told him I want to be back for Northwestern TT, and he said, "Oh, honestly, don't do anything stupid. Just take it steadily. But the best place we know of in the world to go to if you want to get back is Formula Medicine. In Italy, it's just near Pisa. Via Reggio, the place is called. Really, really nice place, actually.
Yeah.
This is a place you should go." Gave me the number of Riccardo, who's the owner of this place. He's one of the longest standing Formula One doctors there's ever been. He's been in Formula One for 40 years or something crazy. Anyway, I got on the phone to him while I was still laid up in America and told him that I want to be back in 8 weeks. And he sort of laughed down the phone and went, "Yeah, of course you do. And let us see what we can do." And come back to me and said, "We'll try our best." He said, I can't promise anything, honestly. It's a pretty crazy idea to even try and do that, but we'll do everything that we can for you to do that. So as soon as I got out of hospital, I wasn't allowed to fly for 2 weeks after the surgery, but I got out of hospital after 12 days. So I only had 2 days to wait, and then I could fly. Yeah. And instead of flying home, everybody's like, "Oh, I bet you can't wait to be home." I was like, "That's true, but I'm going straight to Italy." I flew straight there. I was on a wheelchair and everything. I couldn't walk or anything. Just before that, actually, in my 2 days, I had a really good guy fly in from Texas, flew in, give me stem cell treatment, which is this crazy treatment that they're having all over the world now to help you heal quicker and stuff like that. So,
I've had it.
So give me that. It flew to Texas, flew to Florida, give me the treatment, flew back. But I had casts on both legs. And he was like, oh, you want to be back sooner, don't you? I'm like, yeah. He was like, well, you don't want them on. Just cut them off for me. Cut both casts off. And he was like, you best get used to like walking soon and getting some weight on it and stuff. But I was still in a wheelchair anyway. I could like stand on them a little bit and walk around. I had a little Zimmer frame walker sort of thing. I could do a few steps, but then I was in a lot of pain. Flew to Italy, and they basically went, we can do two things for you. We can do one or the other. We can give you your quality of life back. We can reduce the pain, help you walk better and just move freer.
Yeah.
Or we can get you ready for riding a bike as soon as possible. And I was like, I want to ride a bike as soon as possible.
Yeah, it's choice two.
Choice two.
Forget about the other things. I don't care about walking and all that. As long as I can ride a bike.
The rest of your life. Forget about that.
I just want to ride a bike. And I went, all right, you strap yourself in because it's going to be a rough journey. It's going to be a lot of pain, and it's not going to be an enjoyable 6-7 weeks. I said, all right, I'm in for it. And they went, you need to tell us when you need to rest and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't need to rest. I want everything I can possibly do. Every hour of the day, give me something that I can do that's going to help me potentially be back for the TT. So basically went from then, as soon as I arrived, went in this facility from 9 a.m. till 7 p.m. They were open. They're not usually open weekends, but they were sending staff in at the weekends to give me work from 9 a.m. till 7 p.m. and weekends. And then when I'd leave at 7 on an evening, I was staying at a little like Airbnb sort of thing across the road from this place. So I'd like hobble literally across the street into the house. Then they'd give me all these different machines to like plug into, like put magnetotherapy. And
that's the where you have the broken part in a magnetic field. Yeah, and it makes the blood move differently.
It helps the plasma in the blood stir around and helps you heal quicker and stuff.
Yeah,
and
you sat there with this
thing on my leg, and I actually had two. So I had three actually. Two on one on that leg, one on that leg.
Yeah,
and then they have a mattress topper that goes on your bed
with the same thing.
That has the same thing. So then when you plug the machine then into the mattress when you go to sleep, and you have this for 8 hours while you sleep on a night, or while you lay in bed. I didn't do much sleeping, to be honest, riding about in pain every night.
Looking back, does all this feel like it was worth it, even though you didn't get to race?
Not really. Not really.
It's not that. Do you know what it is, Jack? You don't actually know, because we just discussed when you came in, no two simple bone breaks are the same, let alone complex, multiple fractured injuries.
Yeah.
So there's no reference.
No.
So you can't say, we got one Davey Todd and we sent him to Italy.
Yeah.
Right? We got the other Davey Todd with exactly the same injuries. We sent him home to watch telly. Right?
Yes.
And the one in Italy got better quicker or didn't. There's no reference.
Yeah.
All you can do is as much as you can do based on medical knowledge to get better. And even then, you don't know how much difference it's made.
Yeah.
But you can just do your best. That's all you can do.
That's all they said. That's all they said as well. We can't tell you how long it's going to be exactly. Just we'll get you faster than it would have been.
Because different anyway.
Yeah.
You'll be different to me in terms of healing.
Yeah.
And Jack. So did you?
Very different from me.
You stopped in. No, it's weird. It's so weird. You can have a young fella with flipping strong rugby player that some old dear. I've got some friends who are orthopaedic surgeons, because you kind of develop friendships with orthopaedic surgeons when you race bikes generally.
Yeah.
And one of them, a guy called Tony, who I used to know when I raced, he says, oh no, you get a young, strong, fit man, and for some reason that
it just doesn't
takes
heal
longer
fast.
than some old deer who falls down the steps.
Yeah.
It's just weird. Did you? interesting to me there, did you stop in the little guest house for 6 weeks?
About half of it.
Did you get to know them? What were their take on it?
Yeah, well...
Just think you were nuts?
Yeah, pretty much. Everybody thought I was nuts, to be fair. Everybody that I told them, they're like, oh yeah, that had half an idea about what injury it was, because everyday person, oh, you broke your leg. Oh yeah, I broke my leg once and I
was right in 3 weeks.
I was riding in, slightly different to that. But anybody who understood it, they're like, you've no chance. Like, it's minimum, and a clean break is like 3 to 4 months. Like, you're not doing it in 2 when it's a really bad one. But I just had it in my head, and I've always healed. I've always been on that end of the scale of really fast healing, and always just put my all into coming back, because I hate being injured. Nobody likes it, but I don't like sitting around and doing nothing. I want to be back on a bike as soon as possible. And they go, even though you're doing really well, save riding your motocross bike until 6 weeks after, and I'll ride it in 3 weeks and be like, there you go. See, I told you I could do it in 3 weeks. Yeah. And that's gone wrong a few times. But in general, I've always been fast with it. And everybody thought it was insane, and done everything I can, as I say, to be back, and it just weren't enough time. Like, I have healed really fast, and they're all like, I can't believe how it looks for how bad the break was, like how much it's healed already. Yeah. But it's not healed enough to ride the TT right now. I'm still walking on my rod. So they're like, the bone actually isn't like supporting me when I'm walking around right now. It's just the metal. Yeah. So
in fact, it probably never was going to be possible.
Probably not. And I knew that in the beginning, and I did say that. I said that to my girlfriend in the beginning, Abby. She actually got quite upset at one stage, and she was like, you keep telling people you're going to race a TT. And she's the only one who sees how I really am. Like, behind the scenes, I'm all right. In front of everybody, I'm like, I'm good, I'm happy, I'm fine, I'm not in pain. And then behind the scenes, I'm laid in bed in agony, not sleeping at night, like really, like struggling really bad at times. And she was the only one that really seen that. And she was like, you're not racing, you can't, like, it's not possible. And I'm like, for me, I knew there was a good chance that I wouldn't be able to. Yeah. But mentally, to get me through the 8-9 weeks to the TT,
you had to try.
I had to put my all into trying to just pull me through the weeks. Otherwise, I'd have just laid there and been depressed and sad and whatever else. At least I just was working towards something. So
to be fair, she'd have known that anyway.
Yeah.
What did it feel like arriving at the Northwest? Did you know in advance that they weren't going to allow you to ride, to race once you got there? No. Or did you only find out when you arrived?
No, I only found out, unfortunately, the day before the day before the practice starts. So literally went there thinking I'm going to race, because
directly from Italy.
I went directly from Italy. I flew straight to Spain because I wanted to ride before the Northwest to check out I was all right.
Oh right, okay.
And flew to Valencia. Got my practice bike down there, and I was like, right, I'm going to do a day at Valencia, at least a day at Valencia, and see how I feel. And actually felt good. I really surprised myself, because you see me walking here, I'm still not walking so good, and everything else. And anyway, got out at Valencia. Struggled to get my leg over the bike, but once I set off down pit lane, do you know what? I felt all right, and finished the day up. I did 3 20-minute sessions, didn't slow up, didn't have any troubles or anything like that. Used an old set of tyres, and only was like a couple of seconds slower than I was at the start of the year there. So it wasn't miles away. And then that sort of gave me that bit of hope that I didn't necessarily have before, because I knew I was still in a lot of pain. I was still struggling with a lot of things. I thought there's a good chance I can't actually ride a bike. But then rode at Valencia and something switched. Then I was like, I'm actually all right. I can race it. Not only can I race at the Northwest, I feel like I can be competitive as well. So told the organisers all this information that I'd been and rode, and they said, okay, like come and do your medical when you arrive, and we'll see. And got there, didn't have any sort of hint that I wouldn't be allowed to ride or anything like that. The day before we're riding, everybody's signing on. Rang up Mervyn and said I need to do my medical. And he said, yeah, go to this room, this place, and went there. Basically walked into the room. He asked the other paramedics or doctors who were in the room to wait outside, and said, oh, can you actually move your leg and stuff like that? And I said, yeah, mint, I've got full mobility because we worked on that a lot in Italy. Yes. So I can fully bend it, fully straighten it. And he said, all right, okay, and you can lift it up. I just lifted my leg and put it down. And he went, all right, yeah. And he went, anyway, I'm not happy with your racing. Like, you can't heal in this amount of time. In my opinion, you can't heal in this amount of time. I'm like, but you're not gonna test me? You're not gonna see the x-rays? Because I had all my x-rays that I had recently done in Italy. That's normally what they go off. And he just said, oh no, like, you can't heal in that amount of time. You're not fit to race. So that decision was made probably as soon as they heard you were going to even try and make it back. Yeah, it must have been. As soon as he'd heard about the broken bones, he must have thought I can't race. But so I was a bit cheesed off. I wasn't too happy with that, because I'd obviously made all the effort to get there, spent all the money buying me ferries and everything, going to the Northwest. That was the least of it. Bringing like 5 to 10 mechanics over for the 3 bikes that I was going to race. Oh, really? And all the team, all the efforts. Yeah. Obviously, the team were going to bring bikes for Pete, but we didn't need to bring 10 mechanics. We could have just brought 5, you know? Yeah. We didn't need and then you got to pay them mechanics, you got to feed them, you got to house them, you got to pay for the flights. Like, it's a lot of cost involved in doing that. Anyway, the biggest thing for me is that I was upset because I felt like I could race, because I'd rode about 4 days prior in Valencia, rode around all day and felt good. And they said that isn't relevant because Valencia is easier than the Northwest. Yes. And I said, that's so wrong. That's quite the opposite. In terms of going about on the bike. Yeah. In fact, you ask any rider, the Northwest is one of the easiest tracks you can race. Yes. Because you get so much time to rest on the straights, and then there isn't a lot of direction change. There's a bit on the course road, but it's pretty physically, it's pretty easy to ride around the Northwest. And anyway, the decision was made. It was final. That was it. They weren't changing their mind, and that was it. So got drafted into the
Mrs. Hugh the
comms team. Yeah, up in the box, which did make me feel a little bit better in there, but was still pretty upset. I then started to have a little bit of doubt about the TT, because I knew that their decision at the Northwest would have had a little bit of an effect. I know they said it was completely independent and everything else, but they would still go, oh, maybe we were thinking he might be all right, but if Northwest have filled him, then there must be something wrong. That isn't how it happened anyway, fortunately. The TT medical team were actually in contact with me basically my whole time in Italy, asking for any updates. Yeah. They actually sent me an email saying, we know what injuries you have. We're pretty confident you're not going to be racing. Yeah. And I said, no, I am. I'm doing all this, that, and the other. And they said, okay, we'll take it into account. But that approach is understandable. Absolutely. And they give me a heads up. Yeah. They said, okay, we'll see how the progress goes. We'll take everything into account. All the doctors, because there's doctors, there's orthopedics, there's physiotherapists, there's trainers, everything in this facility in Italy. So they can give their opinion and send all their information across to the doctors in the Alaman, as they did at the Northwest, but they just didn't look at it. They sent it to the guys in the TT and had all this information. And basically, after the Northwest, they said we wouldn't have the same situation. They said, we don't want you to arrive at the TT and us tell you the day before.
Yeah.
We'll give you a good idea a week or two before of where you're at. We got on a call anyway, and they went through everything, every single detail, and said the top and bottom of it was that the femur, the bone, was just not healed enough. It had some soft callus healing, which is really positive for this stage and this amount of time
But
that
it's
it's
still
been.
soft.
But it's soft, and they said you have an impact that the soft callus ain't going to hold anything.
Yeah.
It's just going to
Yes.
separate still.
Yes.
It's like glue that hasn't dried yet.
Yes.
basically.
Yeah.
So then it's reliant on the rod, and whilst the rod's strong enough to stand on and weight bear, is it strong enough to take the impact to the bottom of Bray Hill or the bottom of Bagara?
Yes. Yeah.
And they're like, honestly, we don't think so. We don't know. It's not made for that, is it? The rod isn't made to withstand that kind of impact. And you know, in my own head, I'm not sure whether it is. You know, I stand on it and feel what it feels like to stand on it.
Yes.
And it doesn't feel great. So like taking the impact of the bottom of Bagara,
Yes.
I don't think it'd feel.
Let's be sensible here.
That's the point, because you
great.
work with the Italians, because the Italians are qualified and experts in what they do, they're talking to some medical experts in the Isle of Man. You're kind of involved in there somewhere, but you've got to take there. It's not like somebody's just take one look at you, poked away and make a decision.
Yeah.
You know, that you've got to accept that is a kind of fair decision, really.
Yeah, I do.
I
do
would
think
agree
so.
with them.
I do think so. And, you know, I see now, however upset I was by it at the time at the Northwest, like I can see why they've made the decision. I can see the point.
Yeah.
I do think I could have rode the Northwest and I think I could have been competitive. Do I think I could ride the TT? I think I could ride round, yeah. But am I risking damaging my leg further?
Forever.
Yes.
Like I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to be going to the TT next year and the year after with
Not
still a
quite
problem with
Carrying an
this.
injury that you wouldn't have had if you hadn't tried
A
this.
problem with this leg because I bent the rod or something like that. Like I don't want that. I do want to come back and be myself next year.
Yes. You mentioned Bray Hill and Barragara. Maybe wonder, are they two of your favourite parts of the TT course, or have you got some others that have specific bends or places on the course that you really like, or do you just like the whole place?
Honestly, I like the full thing. Like I wouldn't change one bit about it. Like Ginger Alter Ramsey is the bumpiest section in the world, and it's so hard. I find it really difficult. And I actually broke the sector record there 2 years ago, and it blew my own mind because I don't hate it. I really struggle through there. I think it's so bumpy and you're fighting the bike, and physically it's the hardest point of the course. But I wouldn't change it. If someone said, well, we can make it smooth, I wouldn't want them to take the bumps out of it, sort of thing, because that's part of the character to the TT course.
Completely. That's what people don't get.
Yeah.
That's what makes it a TT. Otherwise, you'd straighten everything. You just have a drag race
Yes.
for 37 3/4 miles, wouldn't you?
Yes.
I agree.
Same as the danger, really. Like if you go down that route and someone said, oh, if we give the whole course runoff like Donington Park, took all the houses out, all the walls out, all the trees out, and there was just a gravel trap around the whole course, would it be the same? It wouldn't, would it?
No.
Like
that's what people don't get about the TT. The roads, but especially the TT. It's the challenge is more mental than it is physical. And because you know how dangerous it is and because you can't make any mistakes, that's what makes you what it is. I tell you who does get it, you know. You see, you would think that top Grand Prix riders who were completely separated from, it's as different a sport as what trials riding is to what you do, right? But they get it. They go and watch, and not one of them I've seen, including Rossi, including Nicky Hayden and all of them, Lorenzo, they don't go, and most people would think they go, oh, that's terrible. That don't make any sense. That wants banning. They all go and go, wow. And then they start inviting Hutchinson and yourself and John McGuinness to the ranch because they respect it. Not because they know it's different. And it's the danger part that the risk element is what they respect.
Yeah. I think they understand what it takes to ride a bike really well. And they look at that
then they
and see the bumps
it to that track.
Everything else.
And it's mental.
Yes.
They all get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think I've seen everybody who's come over and like you say, seen that same thing. It just it blows. It can't not blow your mind.
It can't not.
It can't not.
It can't
It blows
not.
my mind when I watch it and I do it.
I once watched Kevin Schwantz, if you remember him, his first view of the TT, and Randy Mamler, and when the first bike came through, who was John McGuinness? About 2 feet away, doing 180 halfway down Bray Hill. Randy was, this can't be right. Schwantz was like, God damn, that's brilliant. He's like proper, thought it was brilliant. Yeah, so they all know.
This kind of goes quite a long way to explaining why the fact that, I don't know whether Davey remembers my pleading with him to stay on the short circuits when you started doing well in Superstock 6 and I thought, oh, this is good. We've got another Northeastern star coming along here. So, and then you started talking about, oh, I really love the look of road racing. And I'm saying, oh, no, mate, you don't want to go there. Your mum and dad wouldn't want you to go there.
They definitely didn't want that. And it was really close to home road racing already before I'd even ever done it. So it'd already upset my parents before I ever went because Malachi Mitchell-Thomas, who was killed at the Northwest.
He was a good little supercrosser.
Yeah, me and him were our birthdays are 5 days apart, and we grew up together racing motocross against each other.
Right.
All our childhood, like all our life, basically up until maybe 15, 16-year-old from being 6 years old. So we'd battle each other for every championship we raced in. We were 1 and 2 every year in every championship. And when he got killed at the Northwest 200, I think my parents then were like, you'll never do that. You'll never do road racing. Please never do anything like that. And then sure enough, like a couple of years later, I'm lining up and I'd never thought about it at that stage. I'd never thought about it. I'd watched it, but it wasn't a thing on my radar. I'd seen it on TV.
Yes.
And the thing that got me was seeing it in person. I went to the TT in 2017 and I had no ride. I had no money. I was living in the back of my van. I was selling insurance. And
you went to sell the insurance to the Isle of Man, didn't you?
That was the idea. That was my technique to pay for my flights. Yeah. So I had no money to pay for my flights, and Tom Booth Amos, actually, because I'd raced with him a lot when we were younger as well. He'd actually rang me up and said, "Oh, what are you doing?" I was like, "Just trying to earn some money." And he's like, "You need to come to the TT. It's mega. You'll love it." And I'm like, "I can't afford it." He's like, "Honestly, mate, come out here. Like, come have the crack with us." My dad's out here working for Sam West. Brian, his dad, was working for Sam West. Come out. And I'm like, I'd love to. Like, I don't know how I can make it happen. Anyway, concocted this plan in my head that ring my boss at the insurance company and say, if you pay for my flights to the TT, think how much insurance I'll sell it. And I'll sell there. And sure enough, he paid for my flights. I had nowhere to stay, no accommodation and out. I slept on the floor of Sam West's truck in the back of his truck for 2 weeks.
You're selling insurance?
No, nothing. As soon as I got there, I was just completely in awe of every bit about the TT. But I went with Tom. He said, "Come on, we'll go watch at Bray Hill for the first time I get to see a session." And we actually didn't even get to Bray Hill. We went there's the school in between St. Ninians and the top of Bray Hill.
Yep.
And we stood there. We actually climbed over a fence. I don't think you're actually meant to go there, but anyway, we're beside that just after the crossroads and watched the first bikes come through, and immediately, and I thought every racer had this thought, and it was only a couple of years ago that I found out that wasn't the case. But as soon as I seen the first bikes, I was like, it blew my mind, and I thought, this is awesome. Like, I want to have a go at this. And I always had the thought that any bike racer who wouldn't have that feeling, surely as any form of bike enthusiast or bike racer or anything, you'd get there and think, this is mint, I'd want to have a go.
Yeah.
And like over the last few years, I've obviously realised that loads of mates have come over who are BSB racers, World Superbike, MotoGP racers, you say, and you go, it's mint, innit? And they go, yeah, awesome. Do you want to have a go? And they're like, absolutely no way.
Yeah.
And that just, for some reason, that wasn't a thought for me. I just thought, this is mint, I can't.
So I was obviously onto a complete loser trying to persuade you that you ought to stay on short circuits. It was never going to happen. It's never going to happen.
Yeah, just...
But you still get a thrill out of doing the short circuits. I mean, you've won the National Superstock Championship twice.
I do enjoy it. The problem is, and I tell this to everyone as well, like, once you race a TT, it sort of ruins everything else for you. I grew up racing motocross. I've raced supermoto. I've raced flat track. Everything on two wheels with an engine. I want to do a bit of speedway. But once you go to the TT, everything else it's just less good. Everything else in your life is less good because TT is here.
Yeah. Everything
else is just there, and it just the adrenaline rush of racing around Donington Park flat out. It's just not the same adrenaline rush that you thought it was, or hitting 100-foot double on a motocross bike. I still love it, but it's just not the same after doing the TT. So it sort of spoiled everything else for me.
Have you got a favourite short circuit? I'd say on the BSB calendar. Or would it more favour your supermoto days and the supermoto track?
I like a lot. I like a lot of tracks, to be fair, for a lot of different reasons. And obviously, you like the ones that you do well at. The ones that you struggle at on certain bikes, then you don't like anymore. But Donington Park, I've always loved. Alton was something really cool for me. It's such a fun track. If you told someone to go ride it on a track day, you'd have the most fun you could have on a short circuit. But when you go and try and race it, it's so difficult that it's frustrating, and you end up liking it less because it's so hard to get right.
Yeah.
But like I love it for that reason as well. Like I do love Alton and how technical it is. Cadwell, how physical it is, and hitting a jump. I just like trying to do as big a jump as possible over the mountain, and as I say, I like everywhere. Knock Hill's probably not my favourite, to be honest, but if it was just a bit longer, it'd actually be a really good track.
Yes.
Like, it's not like Brands Indy I was never a fan of because there's just nothing really to it. Brands GP's an awesome track.
Really good, yeah.
But like Knock Hill is actually a good track. I wouldn't compare it to Brands Indy just because it's a short lap. There's way more to it, but it's just a bit short. You get a bit dizzy doing especially the fact that they put it directly after the TT, and you go from doing a 37 3/4 mile lap to doing a 2 mile lap or 1.5 mile lap or whatever.
It's not even 2 miles.
You feel like you're riding around a roundabout.
It's a lot of fun, these Knock Hill. It still is.
It is a good track.
But it is
a good track.
It's fairly intense and short, isn't it?
Just when you race there at BSB and the race has to be 35 laps or whatever.
Yeah, to get the distance,
BSB this year, which you would have been in, presumably, full time with Hickey. Did you notice that Dean Harrison got his first podium in Supersport at the weekend in the second race at Donington? Who do you think are going to be the main men at the TT? The obvious ones like Dean Harrison, like Dunlop?
Well, I'll tell you what, before that, just a real quick review of Northwest. Essentially what I'm asking you is, what do you think to to Storm Stacey there?
For me, it was a lot of people. The question a lot of people
I know
have
what
given
you're
me
going to
is,
say. You're going to say,
how surprised are you?
I knew we were going to do it. That's what you're going to say.
How could you be surprised?
Yeah, I agree.
Anybody who knows anything about racing, how could you be surprised?
Yeah.
It's a top-level British Championship rider.
Yeah.
And they go, yeah, but it's a road race.
Yeah.
It's not the TT. It's not 37 3/4 mile of really tough road. It's straights and a couple of chicanes. Like,
Yeah, that's what it is. Breaking points.
as long as you're strong on the brakes, you can be really strong there.
Yes,
And yes,
yeah.
we've
Yes.
seen BSB riders. Most of them go there and they're fast because they're all good on the brakes. But the ones to win a lot of races, and there's weirdly a lot of amazing riders who haven't got a lot of wins, like Peter Hickman has never won a big bike race around the Northwest. Dean Harrison's never won a race around the Northwest, which is mind-blowing, but they're just not mega strong late breakers. And that's what makes a
It is now with the chicanes and everything.
Northwest 200 race winner at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's tactics to it, and you have to be tactically good on the last lap. But
Which is why we've seen, also slipstreaming a little bit. You sort of work your ticket there. But that's why we've seen Alistair Seeley and Glenn Irwin and Richard Cooper going really well.
Yeah.
Because it is literally about being able to break to them chicanes.
Yes.
And Storm Stacey is a
A
late breaker at
Yeah.
BSB, so
Correct.
he's bound to be good. The biggest concern for Storm was being staying safe, staying on it. Really, I think because he's never done a short circuit before, and then also coming in with a load of hype and a load of pressure, and no pressure from the team, but like when there's a high-profile rider
Around
going to a race like this, there's always everybody's asking, how are you going to go, and this, that, and the other, and he's a super confident
He's the
lad
type
anyways,
who would have a lot of confidence in himself anyway.
that he thinks, well, I'm going to
I'm
go
gonna
there
win
and win,
I'm going to win it.
and he did, in all fairness to him, but it was about not making those mistakes, which there was definitely a few that he got away with and got lucky, and I think he'll learn and go away from it and think, maybe watch the footage back and go the moments were a bit hairy, and bear in mind that you ain't got run off at the Northwest. It's simple to learn the track, but it's still dangerous. It's still still not going to end well if you go down. So I'm not surprised. Like he was bound to do well. I knew he'd be up and around the front. There's always luck involved in it. That Superstock race he won in the first running of it, before it got red flagged, he was in a field because he'd ran on and ended up in the field, and then it got red flagged, full restart, and he'd end up winning the race. But he wouldn't have won it from a field in the first run, which worked for everyone. And then in the Superbike race, obviously Glenn is always really strong, and Glenn had his struggles. I think we could all see how it wasn't the most stable bike, the Ducati, and Storm jumped off the Ducati in the Superbike class and jumped on the BMW, which I don't think adheres to all the rules, because you're meant to qualify the bike in each class, but they allowed it anyway, allowed him to ride that Superstock BMW in the Superbike race instead of his Ducati, because he was riding this all singing, all dancing new Superbike V4 Ducati.
Yes. Yeah.
And it didn't look that nice. It was a missile, obviously, but it looked really unstable, didn't it? And Glenn obviously was struggling on with that. He didn't have the facility to do what Storm did and go, I'm actually going to ride the BMW instead because that feels better. So it worked, and it'd be a different state of play next year, won't it?
Presumably come back next year, will he?
I would think for it. I would think so. Now he's got the bug for it, especially now he's got a couple of wins. He'd be coming back with more confidence than he had already. So,
what about you personally coming back? When do you, now that you've been put into position, you've been put in re the TT? Where would you be looking forward to safely coming back?
It's really hard to say at this stage. I'm just waiting for this leg to heal properly, really.
I mean, now you haven't made the TT, could you then look to an extended convalescence where you come back properly fit?
Yeah,
there's no reason not to.
I think that's more the case rather than I could have rode around Donington Park at the weekend or go race BSB, but I don't think I could be competitive. I'm not 100%.
No,
so
obviously not. From the way you walked in, limped in.
I wanted to rush back for the TT, granted, and ride it not 100%. I was happy to do that, but I don't think there's any need of me rushing back to BSB and not being 100%.
No.
With how competitive it is there, it's not worthwhile. So I may as well. I want to get myself back to 100%, get everything healed properly, and not take any risks. I don't want to. The next thing was coming back to short circuits, but I'm good to do that. Am I good to fall off though? If I fall off and give the leg a smack, that's probably not good either. So get it healed properly. I've been given sort of a good idea of when the doctors and the people who actually know what they're talking about, when they think, based on the recent scans that I've had, that I thought were going to get me past for the TT.
Yes.
They said, you're about halfway.
Yeah.
Halfway through. So another 7, 8, 9 weeks or something like that, or looking at being somewhere in the zone to ride properly. But it's all on, it's feeling as well, isn't it? When I feel 100% myself, then I think.
Yeah.
I think as long as you can get yourself back on a bike and going reasonably well before the end of the season, you don't want to not ride this year.
No, I want to be
plenty
back.
of time to allow it to come to you a little bit.
Exactly that. A few people did say about, why don't you just write this year off and focus on next year? But for me, I need to be back this season.
Yeah, you do.
I need a few races under my belt at the end of this year and just get that feeling back and just remind yourself, because then you go through all the off season at least knowing that you can still ride a bike and not letting it go around in your head and whatever else. So yeah, few races towards the back end of this year. It'd be nice to be back for. There was a few other road races on my radar. Like, it'd be nice to be back at the Southern and Armoy maybe. We looked at a few of the international road races and stuff, and Macau at the end of the year and stuff. A few short circuits, and see how the end of the season goes. Really,
where do you see the TT? We sat here like a week out. What do you see happening this year?
It's hard to say. I've got to say my teammate, and because it's my teammate, and I've got to support him. But you'd be on big bikes. Big bikes, what you always look at in it, really.
Yeah.
Like the small bike races are good, but like for me, and I've had it drilled into me by John, especially as a bit of a mentor. But he's always like, sure, get your 600, get your Superstock, whatever. But he's like, you want to win superbike races. That should be, 80% of your time goes into the superbike, not, splitting your time between super sport and super twin.
Spreading yourself a bit thin.
He's like, put your focus into them big bike races. So for big bike races, for me, Dean Harrison's riding so good. Dean's like, he's riding super sport really well in British Championship. He's riding really well at the Northwest, and he hasn't won a race at the Northwest. I don't think it particularly suits his style. He can do a really quick lap time, but it's really hard in that last lap battle, because I've been in him with him, and I just know I can be a lot stronger on the brakes at the Northwest.
That's really weird you should say that, because he was talking to me at the Stafford Classic very honestly and openly about lack of kind of track craft, of knowing what you're doing when you're racing in amongst a load of people. He said a time trial, like essentially what the TT is, suits him so much better. He can go out and do a fast lap anytime, but when he's racing in amongst other people, he needs more track craft. He needs to know what he's doing more with all those people around him.
No, exactly that, and
it looks like he's beginning to learn that, the way that he's riding the super sport.
Well, I think his super
BSB.
sport short circuit stuff will do that element.
He's doing that element.
100%. He's flying. He's on, like say, to be on the podium at British Championship in any class is not an easy feat, is it? So he's obviously riding super well on short circuits, got that track craft, but definitely suits him at the TT, especially where he's very flowing. He's not stop start. I'd pull the brake more and accelerate more, even at the TT, than he'd flow a lot more. Dean Harrison, and he's just riding really well. He's clicked onto what I've been doing the last few years at the TT as well, by sense of which bike. So instead of running a full-blown superbike, which everybody's got the head into, you need a full superbike to be competitive in the superbike class, which isn't the case. Like,
as
soon as I rode a full-blown superbike, I'm like, you know what, I actually prefer the stocker. Prefer the stock chassis.
Fastest lap ever around the Isle of Man.
Fastest lap ever. And I keep telling Pete this, and he won't listen to me. He's like, yeah, but I could go faster on the superbike if I get it all right. And it's like, but are you going to get it right? It's 38 mile of track that's every different kind of surface, every different kind of style of corner, fast, slow, tight, smooth, bumpy. Like, you can't set a superbike up for all of that. Whereas Superstock bike works in this window, Superbike works in this window. So you either have to set it up for the bump, set it up for fast, smooth, and then it works badly in the other area. So he won't have it anyway. Like, Michael Dunlop wants to run a full-blown superbike. Peter does. Like, there's a bunch of guys that need that full-blown superbike, I think, just for their own state of play. John McGuinness, I keep telling John, are you riding a full... Well, I just like the superbike. I'm like, I don't...
Yeah, John's a bit different.
He knows a little bit more what he wants, but for me, that Superstock bike works a lot better. And I seen racing the TT last year, before we'd even gone to race, I knew I'd worked everything out in my head. Superbike races, I felt like I had pretty comfortably. Like it wasn't really too much of a worry for me. I feel like I could win the Superbike and Senior quite comfortably. I'd put my work into that, and I'd had a full Superstock bike just with a Superbike engine in it, and I loved that. It was the perfect combination for me. Dean on the Superstock bike was a missile, but on a Superbike he wasn't as good.
Yes.
So it was crazy, really, and you don't want to tell him because I don't want to give him some tips and make him faster. But I'm like, why is he not riding a Superstock bike in the Superbike class?
He's doing that this year, though.
And this year, that's what he's doing. Exactly. So this year, as soon as I rocked up at the Northwest and spoke to him, and he said, I've figured out I really like the Superstock bike. Why have I been struggling with a Superbike? Why don't I just ride the Superstock bike with a faster engine in it? And he said, well, I like the brakes on the Superbike, so he's going to run Superbike brakes. And I'm like, he's got it figured out. That would have been the best way. Last year, he'd have been a lot more competitive in that sense as well. But he's now figured it out. It's what I've been doing the last few years, and it makes sense. So I think Dean's going to be
a hot man for this.
He's going to be really strong. Pete, he doesn't show his hand everywhere else, as I'm saying. I don't think it's give him a true representation. I think he'll be strong. Michael, you can never write out.
Absolutely
you just
never.
Have no idea really where Michael's at. He was going to ride a Ducati. Now he's going to ride a Honda. He's riding a BMW stocker. No idea why. None of it makes any sense. But he'll still end up being fast.
Yeah.
No matter what. Even though he didn't look particularly that strong at the Northwest, I think he will be. He'll just come to the TT and he'll be strong. In the low classes more, Super Sport, he's got that Ducati V2 that's
I've got to say, Super Sport,
unbeatable.
He will be unbeatable. And actually, this new sport bike thing, even though there's lots of other manufacturers, layouts.
But they're not competitive. Sport bike ain't competitive, though. I know they're calling it the sport bike class now, but you still can ride a Super Twin in it.
What I'm going to say is, they're all allowed in, but it's still going to be a flipping pattern that...
Of course it is.
And probably with Michael's
pattern. Yeah, because it's not the same as
exactly
the other patterns anyway. So that like he's a missile on that thing. He's one of the fastest riders in them classes and has the best bike. So it's a winning combination.
Yeah.
Dean Harrison, you'd obviously say he's riding Supersport British Championship, but on the Honda in Supersport, he ain't going to challenge that V2. It's just not going to happen on a course like the TT course.
I agree.
I think he's riding better than anybody, and I was in that class on the same bike or similar bike. I was on a Padgett's, but a Honda 600 in Supersport last year, and I rode that the hardest I possibly ever rode a bike around the TT course, harder than I'd rode to win them big bike races. And I finished third, about 8 seconds behind Dean. And I was like, honestly, not that I don't normally have respect for Dean, but I said, that is the most respect I've ever had for him, because I scared myself how hard I rode the Supersport bike to ride that Honda to even just get on the podium. And he beat me by 8 seconds still. I'm like, I didn't have that. I can't ride it that fast. I honestly can't. And I think if he was on a different brand of bike, he'd be a lot faster. But it's not the most competitive. You need to be on a new gen bike now to be properly competitive. That Ducati, the Triumph, the Suzuki GX750, it's hard to beat them. Well, you need to be on a ZX motor actually, based on the World Supersport.
Yeah,
we were talking about that before we came on air.
Yeah.
Trouncing everyone, isn't it?
Yeah.
Chinese bike.
Yeah.
He's only 19 points off the championship lead now after those 2 wins at the weekend.
Yeah. But he's won a load, hasn't he? And he did he not finish the first 2 races or something in Australia?
It didn't start well, but it's gone very well since in terms of
that's strong,
back-to-back wins.
It's where the world's going. Chinese.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And the Davey Todd TT fortnight then is going to be. Is it going to be supporting Hickey and doing? Have you already got TV work actually confirmed that you're going to do when you get there?
Yeah, we're gonna do a bit of work with the guys, the green light guys and stuff, and do a bit of work over there, and just try and do a bit of everything. I've agreed to do a bit with BMW, which I would have done anyway, but it now just makes it a little bit easier because you're not in your stressed area trying to get yourself sorted for riding.
Yeah.
So I'll do a few laps with BMW guys. You can entertain people a little bit more, give them a bit more time, a bit with sponsors and stuff that are all coming out. You can give them a bit more time. Try and help Hickey if I can. Not that I think I can. We set our bikes up really different, and and he's more experienced than me anyway, so he knows what.
Still be in his corner, can't you?
He knows what he wants, but be there to support him and the team and stuff like that, and try and enjoy it. To be honest, because I've said for years that and I've got what I almost, not that I wished for it, but I said, if I didn't race a TT, I'd still go every year because I love it.
Yes.
And I feel very sad and bitter about it this year, but I want to still enjoy it. I want to still go and watch a bit of the racing, and because I never get to do that because I'm always on the on the other side of the fence and racing every class, and it'd be cool to watch a superbike race, from somewhere else. It won't feel like that at the time. I think I'd be really upset watching it, but
well, whatever the other side of you that your girlfriend sees, we certainly don't see it because you seem extremely cheerful in your bitterness.
Yeah,
you're going to really enjoy yourself.
I've been trying to.
So she's the lady in question isn't from the lovely little village of Broughton, just near Saltburn, where you no longer live.
No.
Yourself, you've. When did you move to Andorra?
Moved there in January, January kind of thing. Moved out my house in December, but only moved in there in January. But I spent like Christmas and New Year in America. But yeah, moved out to Andorra. I've got a bunch of mates out there that have been telling me to move out there for ages.
It's always been a motorcycle racing enclave.
Well, it's like a racing paddock.
Yes.
It's that smaller place. It's about the size of a race paddock. And all the people from all the different paddocks in the world, all the MotoGP riders, the World Superbike riders, Moto2, Moto3, cyclists, mountain bikers. Like, it's a great place for athletes. So every day you can go out, riding enduro with enduro riders, cycling with cyclists, motocross with motocrossers. Like, it's just a...
Who are you nearest to?
A couple of our mates, a couple of cyclists, James Shaw and Ethan Vernon, who are out the Giro d'Italia at the minute. So been trying to catch up with them, but I've barely been there, to be honest, since I've lived there. I've been on my recovery in America and Italy, so I've not had much time. But there's like Billy Bolt, the enduro rider, just up the road. To be honest, all the athletes are in. There's only 5 or 6 towns, and pretty much everyone is in 2 of them. And the 2 that are really close, La Massana and Ordino. So it's like you can just walk to everybody from where you're at. Just a cool place.
So where did you have your house? Did you buy one in Broughton? Did you get one for your parents as well in the village? Or
no. So I moved out of Broughton and moved into Saltburn. Because
you moved up market.
Yeah. So I get to. I always told everybody I was from Saltburn anyway, but it was actually I'm from Broughton, as you know. I always wanted a house in Saltburn, to be honest, and I love Saltburn. It's where I went to school. It's where I grew up and everything. A lot of my friends were there growing up and stuff. It's by the beach. It's a lovely place.
A beach that used to host great motorcycle races when I was a kid. The sand racing there was exceptional. In fact, that stretch of sand was the first place that Sir Malcolm Campbell ever attempted the world land speed record along there in about 1921-22 on his first Bluebird. Yeah, it was. It's quite an exceptional history, the motorcycle sport there.
I have been on it on a couple of bikes, but it definitely wasn't at times it was allowed to be.
Gotta say,
I went for a little bit of a spin around there, just to say I've done it. But yeah, it'd have been cool to be there when there was bike races, because they still do their little hill climb out the back, don't they?
I think so. I think they've still got a remnant of that, because that used to be very popular. Yeah, back in the day.
But I miss home. I've been back there this week a little bit, and or last week. Sorry, I've been there last week and reminiscing on home, because I've not seen anything of home in a while, about 5 or 6 months. So it's nice to it'd be still nice to go back every now and again and see everybody back home. And I always have a walk along the pier, walk down the pier, and freeze, shiver, wrap up really warm, walk along the pier. But it's nice. Try and get out surfing as well.
Oh, nice. John McGuinness, we had him. We had the pleasure of his company recently, and he did his 30th anniversary year at the TT. But he was talking about actually running. If he ever ran a TT team or a Rhodes team, it would be you and Dean Harrison would be the men on it. And would that be something that would appeal to you if that ever happened? Yeah,
it really would be. John's been a big part of my career, and I was saying recently for his 30 years and stuff, and he's been like a bit of a mentor to me over the last 6 years I've been at the TT and everything. I always said to him when he retires, I want him as my manager, because he's helped me in that sense, on and off the bike, more than on the bike, to be fair. And it'd be cool to do something like that maybe one day, as long as it's on BM, so not Hondas. But it's cool to see him still going. I'm staying at his house at the minute. I'm just up there. Back over.
Do you know what? I was chatting with him at Alton. He's going quicker on short circuits on that stocker than he ever has. Not by much, but he's definitely getting a little bit quicker. TT this year, there's no Davey Todd, right? No James Hillier. He's doing some filming. Peters, you never write him off. However, he's definitely not at his 100%.
He's definitely compromised.
And I've said to John, it's not going to take much here. It's not going to take much more than a couple of, somebody gets a puncture or somebody's a bad pit stop or somebody's a breakdown. There's maybe a podium on here. And you know what he said?
What?
If I get on the podium I'm going to take all my clothes off.
Nude streak.
And do a streak down pit lane. I don't know why, particularly this. I think he's got a little bit of a fetish there. But that's what he says.
Any excuse to get his clothes off.
And he would do it. He'd do it.
Oh, yeah, he would.
So,
I would love nothing more than to see that.
It's
in
not,
the nicest way
it's not a
possible.
pretty thing. I want to say.
No, it would be awesome, wouldn't it? And I would not write that off either.
No, yeah.
A lot of people talk about why is he not retired yet, and for a lot of reasons, but none more than he still absolutely loves riding a bike.
Yeah.
You know, I up at his house yesterday, and he wants to pull pit bikes out, wants to pull a speedway bike out, wants to pull go-karts out. Like he's like a big kid still.
Yeah.
Like he's still dead passionate about riding motorbikes and racing motorbikes.
Yeah.
And what people don't understand is he's still really fast.
At most things on a motorbike.
When he's still doing personal bests on short circuits.
Yeah.
He was very close, not last year, the year before, to doing his fastest ever lap at the TT.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think of all the races he's won, and he's nearly doing a personal best a couple of years ago. It shows, first of all, it shows how high the level's gone at the TT, but it shows how strong he still is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was on the podium only a couple of years ago at the Northwest still. And I would definitely say that the TT suits him more than the Northwest does. He's never been a Northwest guy, really. He's
not a
got
Northwest specialist.
few wins, but you know, of all the years, I don't know if he has. I think he has less wins than me at the Northwest. So, like, of all the years, but TT, you'd count on him a lot more. So, I could see it coming, and it'd be awesome, wouldn't it? How much would the place go absolutely?
Especially if you were on the mic
wild
at the time.
Well, I'll tell you what,
Place would go wild, wouldn't it?
Greenlight TV have got the little pixelator machine just ready.
Little been the optimum word. Little pixelator. Yeah.
Quick time for an ad break, and then we'll be right back.
MotoFest is being held 24th to 26th of July at Anglesey Circuit down on the Isle of Anglesey, which I do quite a lot of track days there, probably 18 a year. The place is beautiful. Honestly, it is the hidden gem of British circuits. Circuit's good, surface is good, the views are brilliant. You can see Snowdon, it's right by the seaside, it's up, it's down, it's brilliant. MotoFest is built around a round of the World Outdoor Trials Championship with all that entails. And if you've never seen, listen,
can you stop giving me cheese in that sandwich at lunchtime?
Yeah, that's what it is. So, MotoFest is built around a round of the World Outdoor Trials Championship. That's good enough on its own. However, it's not on its own because they built a whole festival around this, including the main things you think from a bike festival, right? Food, you've got live music, you've got bars, you've got camping, but also you've got road rides. You've got guided road rides around Anglesey.
Yeah.
You can test drive from various manufacturers, road bikes, adventure bikes. There's an enduro loop. You can take part in yourself. There is also, and this is my little part of it, on-track sessions on your own bike, £25 a session. You've got a book on. So if you do want to book an on-track session, go to motofest.co.uk. 25 quid for 15 minutes. If you've not been on tarmac before, it's an ideal opportunity to do that under safe conditions. Me and my instructors, and you will have heard of them, most of the BSB boys, will be looking after you. If you don't want to do any track sessions, don't worry about it. Go anyway. It's going to be brilliant. If you've never seen outdoor trials before, it's brilliant. But these lads are the best at what they do, and you'll be amazed at what they can do. Plus the fact there's going to be loads of other motorcyclists there looking and doing the same things as you. So you can talk about your bike and their bike. It's a load of like-minded people, and it's going to be a cracking weekend, 24th to the 26th of July.
Listen, folks, it's time for some listeners' questions for a Davey Todd Q&A.
Preza Q&A, powered by SAF Holland.
So, listener questions for Davey. I've got a little list here. First one from Lisa Shepherd, who's a YouTube member. Other than the TT, What is your favourite road race?
It's quite hard that, I like them all for different reasons. The racing at the Northwest is always good, but it definitely, isn't anybody's favourite track. Like, it's
in
not,
terms of the shape.
like it's the layout is just,
Yeah.
there's no to it as a track.
Yeah.
What people always used to love, and what I definitely love, was the Ulster. The Ulster Grand Prix was mega.
Yeah.
That was an awesome circuit. But I love...
That was like a little mass start TT. Though,
yeah, it was. Yeah, it just felt like the TT, all fast and flowing, and
But you set off together.
Yeah.
proper battles there. So that was good. But Armoy is definitely one on my list, because it's, as you and me both love our motocross. It's like a tarmac motocross track. Armoy is, with all the jumps out the back and stuff. I love seeing how big I can send the jumps out the back. So I love racing around there. And then the Southern 100 is one I love, because of they always call it the friendly racing. It feels like that. It's just always a nice feel about the Southern 100.
The event.
The track itself, again, it's not like the Northwest, but in a similar sense, it's nothing special. The track itself, the back road is quite cool. Other than that, it's a square instead of a triangle. There's not much to it, but it's a nice feeling, a nice week. I enjoy the week in the Isle of Man for the Southern 100.
Mark Betts, who's another YouTube member, says, good luck with the recovery, Davey. Who do you think will be the highest finishers outside the TT aliens, the likes of Pete, Dean and Michael?
We were sort of touching on it before, weren't we?
With John.
With John, to be fair, but to not call John McGuinness a TT alien is
weird.
It's a bit untoward, isn't it? But I genuinely think John's going to be up there. He's setting personal bests. He's riding really well. He's motivated. He's out to prove a lot of people wrong, because people keep telling him or asking him why he hasn't retired yet, and I think he's got a little bit of a point to prove and stuff like that. And a few of the other riders even have, maybe not in a nasty way, but sort of said, can't believe you're doing what you're doing. You're out of shape. You're not as fit as I am. And he's like, all right, then I'll show you when they get out on a bike and get out on track. He's found a little bit of motivation in that. So I think John will go well. Nathan Harrison for sure has been coming strong, because watch the sort of younger riders, because there isn't any, like, other than myself, like, I'm sort of the youngest guy in the top 20, 30, 40 guys. Like, there's no one really around my age except Nathan Harrison. Nathan's a year or two younger than me. Nathan rode really well last year. He's had an injury for a couple of years, and now he's in healthy. And I think Nathan will go really well. Still looking out for my mate Mitch Reese, though, to be quite honest. It's only his second TT, and he had a rubbish one last year with some issues, and he had an illness all the way through the TT, so he didn't show how fast he is. This is a guy that me and Peter have both been racing when we got out to New Zealand, and in all honesty, he smoked both of us in New Zealand. I only beat him a couple of times, and he ended up beating me in the championship. And very fast rider, very intelligent, 33 years old, so he's not a young kid. He's not going to do anything stupid. He's riding for Padgets, so proper team. I think we'll see some real good stuff from Mitch this year.
He's been riding in BSB stock.
He's been doing a couple of rounds of stock. He's been testing in Spain. He didn't do that last year. He did a couple of rounds, but this year he went out to Spain, took a 600, and he's ran 600 as well, which he finished 6th on at the Northwest. He's in a better position. He's excited. He's doesn't care about anything else. He's over here to race a TT, and he's like, even though he's there at BSB stock and at the Northwest, he's like, just want to get to the TT. Don't want to do anything stupid. Don't want to get hurt. Don't want to get injured. Just get me to the TT, and he's excited about that. So,
what about Cummins? Is he still
Cummins
and still quick?
Connor's definitely still going to be quick, and he's got his own bike for the Stocker. He's got super bike with Michael Rutter, Badham's team.
All right, yeah.
He's got Suzuki Gixxer 750, which he was like really particular about what supersport bike he wanted to ride, because he's rode a few different bikes.
Yeah.
And he realised, he knows he's a big guy.
I'm going to say, he can't get on some of them.
Suzuki is a big bike, and it's got a big fare in it as well. So he'll hopefully get his big body behind there.
Not only that, little bit more torque, little bit, just, I think it'll suit him. I think it'd be a great bike around there, actually.
Yeah, I think so too. There's a big list of guys that you could be like, who's going to be in the mix? Mike Brown, like, he's gone fast, he's gone slow, he's gone fast. Like, you never really know what to expect from Mike. Like, he's been right at the front of the Northwest 200 a lot of times, and then last week at the Northwest, he just didn't seem like his normal self. He didn't seem as strong as he usually is. So it was surprising. Maybe he's saving something for the TT. I don't know. So Hutchie's been riding well.
I was just going to ask you, what about Hutchie and his own team for the second year, but he says it's a lot better shout this year.
And he's doing the same, what we were talking about before with stock bikes. He's got a couple of like stock bikes, a super bike with a different engine in it, maybe a couple of different bits that suit him. I think he's very happy with the package that he's got. He's got the Burroughs Engineering Ducati V2 for Super Sport as well.
Which should be the bike.
He's been going really well on that. It's a British Championship. He's been doing a bunch of testing on it. And Hutchie's looking good this year. Yeah. Hutchie's riding really well. And I think he's fired up because a lot of people, much like John McGuinness, are saying,
write him off.
You're injured. You've had too many injuries. Your day's passed, and he's wanting to prove a point that he's not done. Wants to be back up there. So I would definitely not write Hutchie off either. It's going to be hard to challenge them front guys, I'm sure, but we're waiting for someone to bridge that gap, and maybe Nathan's can bridge the gap. Maybe John's been adding something for 54 years. he's got something else to show us.
Ryan Thomas asks, which bike have you enjoyed riding the most on both roads and short circuits, and why?
My current bike, honestly, the current bike that I'm riding, the BMW M1000 RR, is mega. Not in BSB Superbike trim, I have to say.
Yeah.
Be careful what I say. Really don't like it in that spec. It's when you take the BMW electronics off it that the bike goes like that, and it's not the bike that's going like that. If you just change the electronics from BMW's stuff and put Motec on it, it ruins it.
Yes.
So as soon as it's in Superbike trim, like last year riding it in BSB is hard work.
Yeah.
But Superstock, I absolutely love the thing. I never touch a thing either. I ride my practice bike is in that spec with the same settings I ran 2 years ago, and like I've never changed a thing. I'd ride it at the TT, I ride it at Knockhill, I ride it at Brands.
Is that the one you've got at home at Broughton in the garage? Or is that just, is it?
I have. I've got one there. So I just I don't need to do anything. I just get on it and ride it, and I love it. Like it doesn't matter what track I ride it on.
Yes.
I don't change anything. It's great. So it just feels like it works as a package everywhere.
John McCulloch says, hi, Davey. With missing the Northwest and the TT, when will the medical team let you back racing? I suppose the medical team's got a say in it, hasn't it, really? We've talked about when you'd like to see yourself back. But
still
a medical team might be involved.
I've still got to pass that fit to ride, basically, because basically the governing body won't give me a license because they know what's happened. So they won't renew my license as to have a race license until I get a fit to ride, because they're saying, well, you could go do a club race, and they might, if they hadn't been on social media or looking at the news and they don't know who I am or anything like that, they could let me race if they didn't know I'd had an injury. So they're basically saying they're protecting that situation by not giving me a license until I get past medically fit. Right. So officially I can't do a race until I get past medically fit. But
that's nothing to do with the what was the championship you won just a couple of years into your road racing? The European Road Racing...
IRRC, yeah. International
IRRC.
Road Racing Championship.
Yeah. At places like Chimay and Froberg.
Yeah.
Cool championship. And I definitely want to go back and do some of them races. But are you coming back? You're my friend again. Go on then.
Up you go, Sprout. Well done.
He has a couple, yeah.
I would love to do some of them races. Chimay is a really cool race that me and Pete have both had on our radar for a while. Pete actually did a Imatra a couple of years ago as well, and I've done it a few years ago. So I would like to go back and do some IRRC, but you still need a FIM license to do it.
Yeah, I was going to say, what license do you need for that? The full FIM one?
Full international road race license. So yeah, still... Whatever I do, I need a license to do it. Even if I want to go do a local motocross race, they won't give me a license for that.
Yes.
So
has Scarborough not been part of that championship?
it's part of the new. So there's a new one now.
Year.
So there's now. It's not There is IRRC, but they got rid of superbikes. So IRRC, the main championship, there's only Super Sport and Super Twin.
Yeah.
But there's a new championship called. I can't remember the name of it now.
Yeah, but it's international.
International. They took over the superbike bit of IRRC,
yeah,
and they've added some other rounds to the championship. Like
and
I think
Scarborough's one of them. I think
Scarborough's one of them. I think Armoy's part of it.
Yeah,
they were trying to make Northwest part of it even. So I think possibly Northwest is even part of it. So anyway, I'm not really sure when I'll be back. When I get allowed, we're looking. There'll be a few weeks yet.
Yeah.
It'll be a few weeks yet, unfortunately. But
the point is,
we hope so.
Wait until it is all right.
You can wait until it is all right.
Yeah.
You're not going to rush back. But strangely enough, the final question on this little bit is from Neil Alcock saying, "Hi, Davey, I'm sure you're gutted about this year's TT. What about bringing 810 racing to Armoy this year?"
Yeah. So
when is Armoy? When does it fall?
It's about 9 weeks away because I had a quick look because it was about within range of.
Oh, it's a bit close.
It's on that both Southern 100 and Armoy are both on that very close to being ready for. So we'll see. I have talked to my teammate about a few of them, and he said he was never interested. And then last year when he was injured, he actually come to support me at the Southern.
Yeah,
and really enjoyed himself and said it looked brilliant. So I said, "Do you fancy having a go?" And he was like, "Oh, I don't know." So he's been thinking about it apparently, but we'll have to wait and see because I would like to be at Armoy. I've won at Armoy a few times now, and it was one of the first road races.
It was one of the very first ones you did.
One of the first ones I ever did, and probably the one that actually started my career off. Really, when nobody sort of knew who I was in 17. You did you both did in 16 where I won a couple of races in Stock 6. But when I did them couple of national road races in Ireland in 17, and I was actually on the podium at Armoy in between Michael and William Dunlop. That was sort of what got my name out there a little bit on the road racing front, and what ended up getting me a ride with Burroughs Engineering for 2018 and coming to the TT. Yeah. So it does hold a special place to me, Armoy. I do like it there, and it's a really well-run event. It's a national road race, but it's growing where a lot of nationals have struggled a little bit to continue and keep going. They've actually thrived at Armoy, and they run it really well. It's a cool event. It's a cool track. Always a lot of spectators there. It's it's cool.
Is it still Kennedy, the bloke who?
Yeah, Bill Kennedy's
a good guy.
A lot to do with it, and all the organisers are just lovely people who do a fantastic job with it, and they run it like an international, as I say. Was
there a biking history in your family? How did you first start doing schoolboy motocross?
No, so
was it through your dad being?
My dad always was into bikes, and he loved bikes all his life. Ever since he was a kid, he just had an obsession with bikes, but could never really afford them, and had like a few road bikes and a few motocross bikes and everything else. But never done any racing or anything like that. But basically when I was born, because he was so into bikes, like the only thing I ever remember is watching racing on TV, whether it was motocross or supercross or MotoGP or TT, like there was bike racing on TV. I don't remember watching cartoons or anything like that. Yeah. There was bike racing on TV and that's what we watched. And naturally then by 3 years old, all I wanted was a motorbike, and I got a motorbike at a little Honda QR50 as my first bike. And as you do at that age, I just got on it and rode it. And never rode a bicycle, I don't think, before that, and just got on a motorbike and went, oh yeah, this is good. And started racing motocross at 6, and just from that, but that was the only background really. To my dad always just enjoyed it. So unlike a lot of racers, like my dad never raced or anything like that. He just really passionate about it. He still loves it now. I think it's a cool opportunity now that he just gets to come to all the race and gets free tickets. So.
Got to say, gets VIP everywhere.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
He's quite cool. He and your mum quite cool about you doing the roads. Have they got?
Oh, I'm not sure I'd say quite cool about it. They were not very keen on it, to be quite honest. Very much against it. My mum more so, obviously. And I think I just started doing it, and I was like, it is what it is, and I'm going to do it. And
the point is now, it'll still worry him, but they trust that you're an adult, you're intelligent, you know what you're doing, and actually they'd be very proud of what you're doing.
I think so. And I think the thing that gives my mum what she said, it gives her peace. We didn't talk about racing for a lot of years after I started road racing. She'd just rather not talk about it.
Yeah.
And then she said the thing that gave her peace with it all is the fact that I get to live my dream. How many people get to live their dream in life? Not many, in terms of most people go do something that they don't enjoy and they're not happy. I'm fully getting to live my dream every day. You know, she has to find peace in that I'm doing what I love doing.
Yeah, you're very good at it.
Yeah. Carl Roberts has sent something in saying, hi, Jack and Jamie, love the podcast. Thank you. My question is for Jamie, but it'd be nice to hear Jack's opinion as well. I don't know whether I've got an opinion on this, but in the superbike and the super stock and superbike class, why are the inline 4 engines so successful at road racing, especially at the Isle of Man, compared to, say, the Italian V4 engines from Ducati and Aprilia? I know they are excellent engines for short circuit racing, but they're not really used for road racing. Why is that?
I can field it for you if you want me to answer that one instead. It's nothing to do with the engine configuration at all. More to do with the bikes that struggle on short circuits, which are Honda and BMW, which are very powerful bikes. Which road racing, you need a fast bike for starters. Helps a lot. Honda and BMW in particular are that, but both bikes at the moment don't agree with the electronics package that is necessarily going on at BSB in particular. But they're not so well. Honda are a little bit far out in World Superbike, aren't they, at the minute? But BMW not that far away. The big one is Ducati. Why are they dominating World Superbike, BSB, a lot of things right now, and not on the roads? I think we had answered at the last week at the Northwest, and that's the stability, because they're made as a very good short circuit bike, which makes them turn very well, very much front endy bikes, so that a lot of the weight's on the front, which makes them turn unbelievably well on a very smooth, nice race circuit. But when you get up to some high speeds on very bumpy real road situations, they're real unstable and nervous, and the Ducati definitely is that. They were thinking that this new model with the dual-sided swing arm as opposed to the single-sided swing arm was the cause of that. The single-sided was the cause of the instability, but they've gone that way, and it actually still looked very unstable at the Northwest. And although it's very fast, you can't use the speed of a bike if it's shaking its head, and you have to actually roll the throttle a little bit to keep it back in line and everything else. So stability of a bike is massive around the likes of the IOM TT. And what necessarily makes a bike fast at the roads and the short circuit are not the same thing, but it's not necessarily about the engine configuration or necessarily the outright power that it has, but more about the chassis and how nice, compliant, how easy the bike is to handle at speed. Because the bike's harder to change direction at speed. You know, on a short circuit where you're going a bit slower, a bike that's hard to turn, you can manage a little bit easier because you're only in second gear. You may be doing 60, 70 mile an hour around a corner. The TT, when you're averaging 130 plus miles an hour, it's very hard to get the bike to change direction. I think it accentuates that. If a bike has a problem in making it hard to ride, I think it's really hard to ride at the TT.
Yeah.
I agree with everything there. I still think there's more to it than that. I think that traditionally the Italians are not as bothered about the TT as, let's say, Honda or BMW. Most of the Japanese actually are. And I think if they'd have wanted to build a motorbike to go and compete at the front of the TT and get one with a geometry that's correct, they've done all right. They've won round there before, a long time ago maybe. But Super Sport, they've won round there. They've run with a single-sided swing arm V4 at the Northwest. I mean, unstable, yes, but still competitive at Northwest. The new V4. So I think if the will was there, I think you could probably make the bike work fairly well around the TT.
I think it could be. I think it could be really good. The problem is nobody's really done it on a big bike, so it's a big risk.
Well, it was going to be Michael this year,
and a massive cost implication.
That's
They're
the
not
point.
cheap.
If Ducati went, right, there's the money, we're going to do this, like BMW did, and like Honda pretty much do, or have done for the last 50 years, then it'd be a different story. But actually, Ducati's never been super bothered. Ducati aren't even that bothered about BSB when you look at it.
None of them teams, like you think Kyle Ride's team, nitrous competitions, you'd think PBM, you'd think maybe not Rutter's team and Oxford Products or Wolf's team quite as much, but like you'd think they're getting support. They don't get any support. They buy everything.
They buy the motorbike.
There's a price there and you pay for it.
They buy the spares, and there you go. Fit your own that electronic shoe you use at BSB, not the one we spent billions developing. Right, off you go. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Thanks, fellas. Adrian Wilson, this is a rather lengthy one. Hi, guys. Love the podcast. Keep up the great work. Thank you. With Storm's double at the Northwest 200, it's shaping up to be a cracking Isle of Man TT in a couple of weeks. It got me thinking the road racing in England is basically non-existent. Oliver's Mount is great, but let's be honest, it's more a permanent circuit that happens to be open to the public than a true road racing route. Not doing the racing there down, as it's fantastic. I'm an East Yorkshire lad, so maybe a bias. So the question is, if you could pick any section of English road and design a road race circuit around it, where would it be? Where would be the start finish? Where would the pits go? And what would make it a great road race rather than just a track day on public tarmac? Would you do a mass start or a time trial?
What's it called? Adrian.
It's called Adrian Wilson.
Right, so what Adrian's asking is, do we know a chunk of road, maybe we've ridden on road bikes or we know of, that has the wherewithal to put the facilities in to make a road circuit?
He also, as a postscript here, he says, I know there are unofficial things like the Helmsley TT on the B1257.
I was just about to say that. That's the only thing I know, really.
That's where we're going to go. Plus Helmsley, nice town for the pits and the
Oh,
you know, the
it's
hotel.
a
Brilliant.
fantastic town with great motorcycle
That's it then, that's what we're
gatherings
going
and
with.
things. So
Yeah.
what's the Helmsley? Tell me about the Helmsley TT then. When the B1257, where is that around Helmsley itself, with Helmsley as the
It's
centre
to one
of
side
it?
of it.
Yeah, it's just one road in and one out. I don't think it's a loop even.
No, but you
is it?
could
It's
easily
just
make a loop. There's some
you
lovely
could,
stuff up
you
there.
could,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's some beautiful
Yeah.
stuff around there.
Yeah, it would be good. Be good.
The
to be fair.
locals would love that as well.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, it'll be,
Does it take in? Does it take in Sutton Bank, or am I slightly out of a slight distance away from
Guys,
that?
Sutton Bank could be good.
Sutton Bank would be terrifying in part.
I once had a run on. You know, you go up, bit of a left-hander at first. There's a hideous
Yes.
right-hander. I had a run on an FS1E when I was 16. Just couldn't stop it. You know, when you got your feet down. Yeah, Sutton Bank, good. Yeah.
I'm not sure about Oliver's Mount getting called a short circuit. Anyway, it's more like a footpath.
Yeah, I mean,
Calling it a
is,
short circuit is
that
a bit.
isn't, it is public road, but it's never
that
used.
way.
It's never used.
No,
only-
it's not.
It's basically
it's
an
not
access road
I
around the
get that.
park. is what it is.
We used to have the wonderful post TT New Brighton road races,
Yeah.
where I come from.
Yeah.
But that I only found out about when I actually got there.
I've done
which
it.
have sadly discontinued. But
Used to call it
they were
Wallasey
proper open
Prom.
roads. Wallasey Prom,
Wallasey Prom.
the King's Parade.
Basically, David, right? You raced down one side of a dual carriageway prom, round a roundabout, as I remember it, back up, and then round another roundabout, and that was it. That was kind
of. Yeah. After the magic roundabout, you'd curve inland.
there was
across
a little
the
bit
start
of
and finish,
Yeah.
and then you'd have another roundabout to negotiate, and then the next roundabout would take you right back to the prom dual carriageway.
3 roundabouts in a triangle. You're saying it's a northwest, basically.
It's like a miniature northwest, kind of. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, they'd love that.
Very.
We could put a couple of chicanes in this.
No, you don't need the
Straights and-
chicanes. The roundabouts give the chicanes, and you'd have old Morgan V twins taking on the sidecars and stuff like that. It was great
problem.
fun.
I did it a couple of times. The problem was for motorbikes. You fell off, right? You didn't so much think about, because we were club racing then, and you had to pay for your damage. You didn't so much think about your own bodily safety, but the flipping curbs were like that and solid. You slid your flipping 350 LC into that and just split your engine in half. Just took the end of your crankcases off. It was lethal.
Did you see that photograph of Jeremy McWilliams at the Northwest 200?
Ricocheting off a curb.
Ricocheting off a curb
Yeah.
in
You'd
the
think
air.
you'd have more sense at that age, wouldn't you?
Bloody hell, wouldn't you?
What is
Just
63? Is he actually a human being?
I don't think so. I think he'd be, if you peeled his skin back,
Be
he's half
wired.
robot underneath.
Yeah.
Must be.
Yeah.
That's
Cyborg.
insane. It's insane.
And he seems so sensible when you speak to him, relatively.
He's intelligent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not sure sensible.
At the end, this said, "Cheers, lads, aid from the Great British Adventure Club, seeking a shameless shout out, but no worries if not." The Great British Adventure Club. I've no idea what that is.
All right.
But anyway, Adrian, that's our shout out. As you
Yeah,
requested.
we're going North East Yorkshire then for our
Yeah.
road.
Oh, are you? You're going?
Yeah, we got-
Yeah, you're going for Helmsley area.
And I think
the Helmsley
this
TT.
year
Yeah,
we didn't-
Helmsley's
we didn't-
got to
we
be the
saw-
one, hasn't it?
We gave a nod to all the British pure road circuits. Aberdeen still runs, don't they?
Yeah.
Which is technically a
Yeah, but it's park. It's a parkland. It's parkland.
It's, yeah.
It's parkland.
all right.
Compared to the New Brighton road races, mate.
It is
it's
slightly
parkland.
wider than Scarborough, but it's also a lot smaller. So
Yeah.
There's quite an essay here from a guy called Jeff Gilbert. "Hi, Jack and James. Really enjoyed the Max Cook episode and have renewed interest in BSB. Good work." Oh,
Yeah, there you go.
It is if that's work, mate.
He'd enjoyed the weekend then.
Yeah.
He'd enjoyed watching
Yeah.
it, wouldn't he?
In 1987, I went to my first TT on the back of my dad Collins GSXR 11 Slabby. We were there in support of Mark Farmer, who Dad sponsored. It was a
Right.
filthy wet year, and I remember manning pit lane in charge of refueling. These were the days where racers went ahead whatever the weather. Yeah. Mark appeared out of the gloom and pulled in for his pit stop. He said it was so grim out on the course that when he was passed by Joey, he thought Joey had radar as Mark couldn't see. Dad pulled him out of the race with no objection. A quick shout out to the mechanics and pit crew, because I remember how nerve-wracking manning the pits was. And these boys and girls do a great job. But what I need help with is a memory or dream I had concerning this visit and Jamie's team.
We're getting deep here.
Yeah, Jamie's team.
Okay, yeah.
We all walked up the hill in Douglas with his mechanics to a dilapidated house where Jamie's Suzuki SXR was being stored.
Yeah.
It was in the front room, but the house had barely any floorboards.
Yeah.
Is this a true tale of how racing was and the way things were, or did I dream it?
It's pretty much true. So, firstly, can I say, it's Gilbert, isn't it?
Jeff Gilbert.
Jeff. Right. Firstly, remember the year really well, my first year on big bikes. Remember the race. He's talking about the senior race.
Yeah.
Joey won it in, I've never raced in worse conditions, ever.
So this is the sort of
year was it?
87. This was a senior. I'm pottering round in flipping 25th because it's my second ever TT and my first big bike TT. You've never seen rain like it. Aquaplaning everywhere. You couldn't see. It was awful. And who'd led it? Phil Mellor led it. Fell off at Governor's Bridge. Joey won it. Going faster than you could ever imagine was possible in them conditions. Would never have been run. Well, I can't believe they ran it then. So remember the year. And I remember I can't remember Jeff, but so what happened was my dad knew a man when I said, look, I'm going to race in the Isle of Man this year again, Dad, because I'd done the TT before. He said, right, well, I've set you with my friend. I've got an old friend there, old bloke, a guy who used to live in Halifax. He's now got a guest house. It's called Kenneth Wright, and you're going to stop with him in his spare room. That'll save you money on lodgings. But also, he's got a property he can use as a garage,
right,
to run the team out of. When I say team, it's me and two mates,
yeah,
and a GSXR.
Which everybody used to back in the day. You'd take your bike back to a garage at someone's house somewhere, wouldn't you?
So that's brilliant. When we got there, we went to see Ken, and he said, "Oh, you're stopping here. This is a guest house. Oh, where's the garage? We'll get unloaded." Well, it's not exactly a garage. It was basically another guest house, but derelict one. He'd bought like 3 houses up,
yeah,
which didn't have a garage. So there was nowhere to work within the property without going up the stairs and from the street into the house. So the best room to use to work on the bike was actually the front room, because it was the first one you got to when you got through the door. So, and it was knackered. The building was knackered. And that night, I knew Mark really well because we'd been at Macau the previous year. Good bloke, Northern Irish bloke, lovely, funny bloke, and fast. And we'd been on a bit of a night out. And I didn't know Jeff at the time, but he must have been one of the Northern Irish contingent who were around Mark Farmer. And we'd forgotten something that we'd left in the derelict building with the J6R that we had to nip back for on the way back to the digs. So we called in there. And even the Irish people couldn't understand how we were running a bike out of a derelict, like a bomb site. So it wasn't a dream, son.
It wasn't a dream, son, but you were probably a bit inebriated at the time.
I think he might have been pissed, yeah.
To this day, I believe it was true, despite it seeming bizarre. Only Jamie can help answer the question and put the story straight and my mind at rest.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff Gilbert. Jeff, I hope that's satisfied you, mate. I think we've come to the end of our questions here. You say you've just been staying at John McGuinness's house, and where he's got about 80 motorbikes stored in a vast garage that he's built there.
But it's not a garage.
Yeah.
A hangar.
It's really nice.
Yeah, I'm sure it sounded like
calling
it.
it a garage is
An
probably
understatement.
probably a bit of an understatement.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I think 99% of the world would love to live in it. With the bikes, there's still plenty of room.
Beautiful.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
And it made me think, what have you got? Have you got a garage at your parents' place in Broughton, for example? Would you have any bikes in a garage there?
Yeah, not many there anymore. My dad's got a couple of my bikes, but just motocross bikes. But I've took most of my bikes with me to Andorra now. I've got a underground garage there because I just live in an apartment there. So
okay. What bikes do you have around?
I've got a bunch of motocross bikes and stuff. I love my motocross. So basically, I ride as much as I can of motocross. So I've got a new Triumph 450. I haven't even rode it yet. So I've had it for 6 months and not rode it. But I've got KTM 450 that I've had last year, which I like a lot. And then a couple of older.
Did you mention a Jeremy McGrath 250?
Yeah, so it was my real hero is Jeremy McGrath. So I grew up watching videos of Jeremy McGrath, and he won before I was born, but he won the Supercross title, 250 Supercross title in his first year of trying in 1993. So I always said, I want that bike. I want 93 CR250 and done out just like his. And fortunately a few years back got the opportunity to get one, and I've got that. I've never rode it, started it maybe once, and yeah, it's just a cool thing to have. And then obviously what most people love is a CR500, so I've got one of them as well, 1996
late one.
CR500. So it's and I've been out on that a few times, and I love that thing, but I only take it out in perfect condition. I don't want it. It's real clean, so I don't want to get it too dirtied up,
Did you see that Kickstart Kenny Roxon had become the oldest man to win the American Supercross title?
Have I seen it? I watch every single race.
Oh, do you?
I love Supercross.
But he went into it a point ahead of Hunter Lawrence and defeated him.
A great championship between him and Lawrence. To be fair, it was exciting. Shame Jet Lawrence is not in it. He's out injured. He'll be back next week or the week after for the start of outdoors.
Quite soon. Yeah, but for Kenny to do that after the injuries he's been through and the age he is,
there must be still hope for me yet with my leg, because his injuries were career ending, and for him to carry on and come back and win the championship. And we're talking about him being an older guy now and stuff like that, and battling the younger guys in Supercross. Yeah. He's not that old. He's 32.
He's 32.
32.
But for that sport and the demands it makes.
Yeah. For Supercross, he's an old guy, and he showed him this year. He rode so well, won a bunch of races, and there was often a lot of talk about him not being able to finish championships off. He always starts well and apparently fades towards the end of the season. I think that stuck in his throat a little bit and wanted to prove a point to everyone, and he did just that and won it on a bike that I don't think that Suzuki RMZ 450's changed in about 15 years, has it?
No, hence the fact Kickstart
still
had the Kickstart.
It's the only one without electric start yet. So fortunately, he didn't stall it too many times. Otherwise, it'd have been knackered.
That was brilliant. Very emotional.
I think Suzuki's sales have just gone up a lot. They've just upped the prices because they were probably half the price to everybody else because it was an old bike, and now it's more expensive. 1 second, sorry. My phone's just been ringing flat out, don't it? Oh, it's John ringing me.
What, McGuinness?
I'm trying to film a podcast. What do you keep ringing me for?
Fuck you then. I thought what you've been doing. I just wasn't sure if you would want to go and do some clays or whatever and meet you there, or you're just not going to bother.
Yeah, that sounds good. We're busy talking rubbish about you.
I'm saying incredible things about you. Amazing.
Saying how amazing you are, yeah. That's pretty much what we talked about for 2 hours, yeah.
Oh, good, mate. Well, just think, when you grow up, you could be as good as me.
That's what I do dream about. I told you.
Well, hey, listen, enjoy it with them two old goats. talking utter nonsense. It's a good laugh. Make sure the dog's not licking your bollocks too much, and then enjoy.
Oh, he's been licking my face. Don't tell me that.
Cool. Well, we're locked and loaded here, mate. So.
Well, sounds good.
All right, John.
We're nearly done shortly, anyway.
Yeah. 10, 15 minutes, good.
No stress. All right, we'll start heading over.
Yeah, crack on, yeah.
All right.
I'll meet you there.
Ciao.
See you in a bit.
Cheers, mate.
Bye,
Say hello to the boys.
Where are you meeting him?
Going shooting. We're going to do a bit of shooting, clay pigeon shooting, yeah. Him and Ewan, his son, has got the licenses, so...
All right.
We're saying we want something to do. Myself and Mitch Reese have been over at staying at his before we get the boat over to the Isle of Man on Wednesday. Tomorrow, isn't it? Yeah, it's tomorrow.
Yes.
Tomorrow. And he was like, "Oh, do you want to go shooting? We'll go have a shoot or something today." And I said, "Yeah, why not? We'll go do a bit." I've done a bit up at Colin Edwards' ranch and stuff like that. And
You got clays there, though.
yeah,
Just,
he's got clays and loads of stuff.
but he's more into your flipping proper.
Yeah,
assault.
they've got proper guns there as well,
Yeah,
not just shotguns. They've got everything really.
Yeah.
Barrett 50 cal sniper, loads of different handguns, guns that fold up, and
Yeah.
bit of everything. It's cool out there, but it's Texas, isn't it? You can do what you like. It's a bit more restricted here.
Slightly.
Talking of over here, have you been keeping an eye on? There's been a pretty hectic weekend. British Superbikes, Worlds, MotoGP. Have you been keeping an eye on what's going on? And
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've had nothing else to do, have I? So I may as well watch a bit of racing. No, it's been good to watch. I think I know it's early on in the season at BSB especially, but I think already Kyle's going to be very hard to beat, isn't he? Kyle Ryde on that new V4. It's looking like the machine to be on certainly at the minute.
Yeah.
Not only at BSB but in World Superbike as well. I think we were watching World Superbike while we were at BSB at the weekend, and I think both races were very similar, where the top 6 positions were all Ducatis, bar
and
Max
all the same.
Cook on the Bimota, and and bar 1 or 2 in World Superbike.
Gerloff had a good weekend.
Yeah, Gerloff on that Cowie beat the Bimotas weirdly, which is peculiar, isn't it? Because you'd say the Bimota was the next gen of the
Kawasaki,
but he went really well.
Tommy Bridewell had a reasonable weekend, I thought.
It went really well. I mean, I don't want to say it, but he's on a V4, isn't he? At the end of the day, he was one of the back end V4s, but of the I think at one point there was maybe the top 8 or something that we were looking at was I think maybe the top 10. 9 of the top 10 were Ducatis, which is insane, isn't it? I think it shows Ducati have done a fantastic job of a bike, but I think the rules maybe need balancing out a little bit based on that. But Tommy's riding really well. At the end of the day, Vickers, we know how good a rider Ryan Vickers is, and he was on a Ducati last year. Granted, it was not the new model this year, and he did really well, but not quite as well as Tommy's doing this year. So he is doing a really good job on it. Taz Max doing a really good.
Taz we forget about because he's been
there a while, and finally he's got an opportunity on a competitive bike, and he's going well, isn't he? He's grabbing it with 2 hands, but he's up against 8 other guys on V4Rs that are also going really well, and not to mention everybody else, you know. But similar in BSB, I think it's going to be really tough to beat Kyle at the end of the day. But Max Cook's having a fantastic go at it on that Bimota. I think he's loving the bike, isn't he? Him and Joe Talbot are loving that Bimota bike in BSB trimmed. I think from what they were saying, it's a perfect bike for BSB, isn't it? It's got too much power.
Yeah.
To deal with the electronics.
Given that you don't need much more power than they've already got at most of the BSB circuits, and given the fact that the BSB circuits are so diverse, I don't think we're going to get ourselves into a situation in BSB like World Superbike where it is that, you know, you can almost pick where you're going to be based on what bike you're on. I think there's a bit better chance of keeping a bit more, keeping a bit of interest for the Yamaha and the Honda maybe.
Yeah, I would say so, but it's the first time I've looked at it for a lot of years, and if you want to win BSB, you basically got to be on a Yamaha or Ducati. But this new model of Ducati, it seems to like outgrown the Yamaha a little bit. And
right.
The Yamaha has been at the front no matter what. And this year, there's a lot of people jump to that Yamaha, and it doesn't seem
and the
quite
timing
as strong.
would seem to be wrong now. Do you think what we're seeing is a Yamaha that was brilliant, that's right at the end because of its layout, because of the way the engine works, the cross-plane system? Do you think that's just at the end? It can't get much better, and now it's been sort of overtaken by the motor.
It's not getting any better. When was the last time the R1 changed?
That's
Other than
what I mean.
gluing some wings on the side, like it's the same.
So really,
bike.
it's job's moved on a little bit, hasn't it?
I
Is that
think
what it feels like to you?
That's honestly my opinion, and the first time, because I would have said, even up until the start of this season in BSB, I've been saying still it's hard to beat the Yamaha R1 as a package in BSB. It's got the right amount of power. It's easy to ride. It fits with the very unique BSB rules.
Across the circuits.
It fits really well. But that Ducati's coming this year, and the Bimota, they stepped the game up. We've gone to a harder tyre in BSB, a SC1 tyre, to slow people down. You see at the weekend in qualifying, the top 9 broke the lap record.
Yeah.
It's not slowed anyone down, has it?
No.
And a chunk of Ducatis up there in that zone. Yes, there was a couple of Yamahas that are like got top quality riders. Brad Ray, you'd said, is definitely one of the best riders in the championship. He almost looks like he's struggling to keep up with them front few on the V4s and the Bimotas.
I agree. And at Donington, I know it's more of a continental type circuit than, let's say, Knockhill or Alton or Cadwell. But actually, when you saw what Max Cook were doing, all the way down Craner, and how settled and flipping fast that was mid-corner, and then you compare somebody, quality rider like Brad Ray, who looked like he was struggling in the same positions, or at least looked like he was going quicker because of what the bike was doing. And it just seems to me like it's just moved forward. The bar's just been moved that bit higher at the beginning of the season. Nobody saw it coming.
No, definitely not. I think there was a lot of hype about the new V4 for sure, that new Ducati, and there was so much hype about it, but there always is about a new bike, and then it maybe doesn't sometimes quite live up to the hype, but
this has.
I think this one has, yeah. It's looking rather strong, isn't it? In all forms, not just BSB, like we said in World Superbike as well.
Yes.
It's a strong package.
Yeah. Think it'll work everywhere?
I don't see any reason why not. TT is going to be different. I'm disappointed Michael's not riding at the TT.
I am.
Because I would have loved to have seen how it went.
Yeah.
We saw it's not particularly the most stable bike at Northwest, but you can always do things to help it. You use a bigger fuel tank at the TT, and you can move the weight around a little bit. I know they've done a lot of that with the V2, because I rode the V2 in 2024 at the sort of start of its life a little bit.
First person,
and that was unstable. And you're going a bit slower on a Supersport bike, but it was unstable. And then I spoke to the team the year later when they ran Michael last year, and they said, "Oh, we changed this and changed that, changed the other, and it made it a lot better, a lot more stable." So there are things you can do to help that. And I was really interested to see how that V4 went at the TT. But it's not looking like we're gonna be able to see where that works. At BSB, do I think it won't work anywhere?
Knockhill is the next round.
I don't see why not a Knockhill. It's quite stoppy and goey, isn't it? At Knockhill, especially out that last turn, and the Ducati stops and goes really well. We've seen how well it does that. Thruxton, I guess, is the
always their weakest link.
That complete outlier to any sort of championship standings. That Thruxton's totally different.
Yeah.
And you usually see like a Kawasaki go really well there. So are we going to see the Bimotas go really well?
I think the Bimota's going to suit that place.
But saves the tyre. Not to say I don't think
the new Ducati ought to be better than the older Ducati that really struggled there.
Yeah. It really did. But the Bermotor, I think should, but you got to be really kind to the tyre. And I think the Bermotor, to go fast on it, you have to push really hard.
Yeah.
So does it save the tyre as well?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't been riding it, but
I think you're right, in theory.
And the Yamaha does go well, so it might bring the Yamaha much more back into it at Thruxton, but hey, it's one round, isn't it? So I can't see Brand's been totally different. Cadwell's maybe a bit of an outlier, but we've seen Ducati still go pretty well there. I don't think it's going to change too much. I don't think anything's going to be too far out of the realm. If they went as well as they did at Alton Park,
exactly,
with Kyle Ryde on it,
somebody
who doesn't even particularly like Alton Park, doesn't usually go well at Alton Park.
If we were just talking about Donington, right? If there hadn't been Alton before it, then maybe. But actually, if it works at Alton, which it did.
Yeah. Kyle loves Donington, goes well there. Everything would have said he will do well there, and he did. But not Alton.
Yeah.
And he dominated there as well, so... I don't know. The other guys best come up with something.
Yeah.
My boys best start working on it, because not sure what we've got to come up with to compete with them.
I know most of the Honda and especially Yamaha people, not just riders, but teams at Donington that I spoke to were really quite frustrated with the fact that they were struggling to come up with anything that was going to give them the sort of wherewithal to go and compete with the new Ducati.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a struggle. The way it fits and stuff, and the way it works within the package of rules as well. I think it makes it a very hard package to compete with, because it's got loads of power. It's super fast, but it also produces the power like really smoothly with that V4 engine. That the BMW, like what I ride, has a bunch of power, but revs up quite fast. Has a light crank. It's quite aggressive power, and usually you can control that with electronics, but not a BSB.
Yeah.
So you need a usable package of power, which the Ducati actually has, as well as having bucket loads of it.
There was a photograph on Facebook yesterday of Ryan and Spider on the starting grid at Donington, and someone had written, "This looks like Spider in need of a cigarette." Spider needs a cigarette.
Spider's always in need of a cigarette.
Spider will always
be in need of a cigarette.
Yeah.
Always feel better for a fag.
I think so. I think I'm a little bit gutted for Ryan. I mean, he should have. He's got to have known what he was getting himself into, but I think Ryan bin Ryan, another quite confident in his own abilities rider, like the likes of Storm Stacey, I think thought he could come back from World Championship and put that Honda on the top. I think it's been a bit of a shock to the system for him, and he's now realising it's a lot bigger task than he might have first thought after being on the Ducati.
Well, I tell you what, he's been very... Well, firstly, I think he was unlucky not to stay in World Superbikes. I thought he rode...
He deserved to stay.
Right?
He deserved to stay.
Second thing, no matter what's happened with Honda, obviously less competitive than he were hoping, because we know how good he is. However, he's been really professional about it. He's not started chucking his flipping toys about the garage. You know, he's been really professional, working really hard and saying the right things for sort of team cohesion. I think I have a lot of time for him.
Yes.
He's working hard, and I think pretty much every race
And
he's
sometimes
been
you got to do
the top Honda and working hard for it, and you've got to keep going like that, because it's easy to get demoralised in those situations. We know what kind of class rider Jason O'Halloran is, and he's a long way back of where Ryan is.
Yeah.
So,
Actually, Lee Bob Jackson's been pretty much highest Honda rider.
yeah, he's
Certainly
doing
all
well.
at Donington. Right, shall we let him get off?
I think McGuinness obviously keen to go shooting.
McGuinness was there with his flipping.
He will.
We need to
Ready
let
to
the
go.
boy go. How long did it take you to get here? Where have you got to get
It was
back?
a couple of hours from John's down
It
here.
should be a bit less if you get
It
good.
should be less, but that morning traffic. But sure, it shouldn't be too bad.
Okay.
Right.
Thanks very much, Davey. It's been a complete treat.
Thanks for having me.
So, ladies and gentlemen, modelled by Mr. James Whittam, we experienced the new standard in summer motorcycle gloves, the RoadSkin Summer Motorcycle Gloves. These gloves are KP Level 1 and the ultimate summer riding companion for the style-conscious rider. Crafted with luxurious gold leather, precision and innovation, these gloves promise to enhance your riding experience, blending high performance with unparalleled comfort. RoadSkin is a family-run company that sells CE-approved, award-winning classic bike gear that is comfortably enough to wear throughout the day, I beg your pardon, the year indeed as well, and engineered to protect your skin.
These are brilliant. I've had these a while now. Most of my riding is done either on an adventure bike touring or on a kind of retro-y, classic type thing that's scattered about here. These are perfect for it. Proper protection, but kind of look the part.
I love the way they match the
fit.
well-weathered leather armchair
And
that you're
fit.
in. And
Perfect.
fit. They look very nice.
Good.
Paddock PA, powered by MotoFest, in association with MCN.
What a lovely guest Davey was to have. Very, very enjoyable and informative. Clever lad. Clever lad.
Brilliant bloke. Good opinion on things that absolutely align with mine. And he's not riding the TT, which is a massive disappointment, but he understands it. He's part of the game sometimes.
Yeah.
Wish him all the best with his recovery, and thanks for coming in here.
Yes.
Just what a flipping good guest. What a good guest. Which we expected, to be fair. We know Davey well enough to know he was going to do a good job.
Talking about good guests, I've got here a splendid handwritten letter addressed to our good friend Sprout.
Yeah, well, I had to open it for him because his paws couldn't get in.
Oh, okay.
And it was a big envelope.
Yeah.
And the reason it was a big envelope is not only did they have a covering letter, but it was full of dog treats. The jiffy bag was schmackos and all sorts of tasty things.
Okay. Well, it's actually an official notepaper from the Tiverton Hotel.
In Devon.
Yeah. And it says, Dear Sprout, please tell Jack and Jamie that the show is a highlight of our month, brackets we don't get out much. Great to see guest interviews and hear some tales that never make it into print. However, I still have a smile about when Jamie was writing for Two Wheels Only magazine, when he was sent up in a fighter jet and the pilot went vertical, pulling 5G and distorting Mr. Whittam's features to resemble a Wallace and Gromit character.
I can't forget that.
I can't remember it, actually.
Oh, my God.
Or when he, brackets, in inverted commas, borrowed diesel from the generators at a European race meeting to fill up his van. Oh, that reminds me of the great Willie Simpson doing that at the Swiss Motocross Grand Prix, pinching a tractor, diesel out of a neighbouring farmer's tractor.
We all did it, not just me. Thanks, Lee.
And who could forget the double act of the pair of them when Jack said a rider was, quote, a bit wide at Coppice, only for Jamie to retort that I've been so wide at Coppice I had to buy a ticket to get back into the circuit. Again,
an old kind of retort, that one. But yeah.
Which I do remember. I've been lucky enough to witness many Whittam knackles over the years. It's great to see you working the camera so well, Sprout, but still give a chance to a couple of up-and-coming, hard-up young starlets like you have there. Oh, I quite appreciate that comment. Keep up the great work, Sprout, but keep the pair of them on a short lead and get Jack's knackers seen to. Best wishes, Lee and Angie, North Devon.
Does he know something we don't?
Is that something that McGuinness said? Or some reference back to the McGuinness episode?
That'll be it.
However, we'll draw a cloak
we'll have
over
a look.
that.
When we stop filming, we'll have a quick look.
Thank you, Lee and Angie, from Sprout. Now then, YouTube member shout-outs. New members, Peter Craddock, Pete Corbett, at Barnsey-38, at Carl Moss 2435, Peter Cook, Chutney Mango, Nick Backers, at Murray's 9950, Jason Newman, Ryan Ulton, at Tammy Tubby Northall, Alex Haydock, and the Off Track podcast, brackets, Dave Neal. Thank you very much, Dave.
Hi,
You've
Dave.
been a long-time supporter of ours, so good to hear from you, mate. YouTube members, of course, a reminder, it's just $2.99 a month. You get early release, ad-free episodes, bonus content, behind-the-scene videos, etc. Shout out on joining in Paddock PA segment, priority presser Q&A questions, monthly draw, winner to watch the show live. And to become a member, of course, the link will be in the description of the podcast on YouTube. So check it out. And do become a member if you feel inclined to. Folks, don't forget, we love receiving your questions, so please keep emailing us at TheOutsideLinePodcast@gmail.com. We welcome every question that we receive. We really love them.
And can I reassure at this point, Jeff Gilbert, wasn't it?
Yes.
It wasn't a dream, Jeff. It did happen. Anyway, sorry. Have to get that in.
So, folks, our thanks again to Davey Todd. Our thanks to James for surviving this so well. I think his voice is on the road to recovery, so he should be all right for going to the TT in his commentary role. And thanks to Sprout. Thanks to Metzler.
LS2
helmets.
Not just for sponsoring.
And RoadSkin.
Yeah, and RoadSkin. But thanks to LS2, not just for sponsoring the pod, but also for providing this absolutely stunning. You can't even tell from what you're seeing there how good this thing is and what the quality of the paintwork is. So, yeah, fantastic.
Quality stuff.
Yep.
And we'll be seeing you the other side of the TT. So until then, stay safe and enjoy yourselves.